Dreamers, welcome back once again. Aloha, this is Brendon, aka Skull Babylon, aka Skull the Wolf, welcoming you to another educational, entertaining, and inspirational broadcast here, done live through ParadigmShiftCentral.com, a real-world interactive game to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking part. Thanking you so much for being here for another awesome opportunity for us as a community to be able to come together, for us to be able to continue to document this ongoing shift in consciousness. And one of the ways that we do that is through these regular broadcasts that we do within the project. Tonight's topic, of course, being Dream Class. We are going to be talking specifically about the ever popular topic of dreams, about what it means to be a multidimensional being, what is happening across these multiple dimensions that we experience both within the physical waking state and also the astral dream state. So of course I am joined here by some fellow amazing shifters. So fellow amazing shifters, give me 1 second as I invite you to be able to make some noise as I pull up your microphones here. So shifters from across the world, go ahead, send some love, make some noise, bless, bless, bless. Huge love to all the other people out there tuned in. Make some noise. Go ahead, everyone. Ow, ow, ow.
What's up, everybody? Namaste. Satnam.
Happy solstice. Woo! Solstice Eve right now. So
Word.
yeah.
Solstice Eve.
Oh yeah. Sweet. All right. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. Just putting the microphones back down for now, but we'll pass it. Stick around in the next moment. And so again, Dream Class context, what it is that we are creating. First of all, bigger than just Dream Class, I just want to be able to let people know that there have been some huge, very exciting upgrades to the Paradigm Shift Central website that I'm inviting everyone to be able to check out as we get ready to launch into the next phase of the project, which is going to be focusing a lot more on the creation for everyone in the community who chooses to be involved of regular ongoing quest journals, conscious articles, and video creation, really focusing on the media. So again, go to live.paradigmshiftcentral.com when you get a chance and check it out. And of course, that does relate to this because within the project, the quest journals are also a place for us to be able to make dream logs, for us to be able to document our dream experiences. And so tonight's Dream Class, with any Dream Class, is created with the intention to be able to help encourage and inspire us to look a little bit more closer at our dreams, to be able to pay a bit more attention, to be able to give them the intention, to be able to use them as a very powerful portal to be able to receive more information about who we are and our potential within this reality. So what we'll do, we'll pass the talking stick around and we'll invite people to share a little bit about what brings them to Dream Class. And so aka, why are dreams important to them? What are some basic understanding of dreams? What are some theories? And throughout the broadcast, we're inviting everybody tuned in, and if there are other people who want to join in, you're welcome to as well. We'll post a Google Hangout link into the YouTube chat. But throughout the broadcast, inviting anybody here, even for people in the YouTube, to be engaged in the conversation and to contribute practical tips, again, personal experiences, dream stories that they would like to share, but really focusing on the practical tips. Throughout this broadcast, we want to be able to help develop a sense of accountability within the community, a sense of collective motivation, knowing that, hey, I'm not the only one doing this. I'm not the only one looking into this. And what happens when more and more of us start waking up within our dreams, when we start not only becoming aware of them, not only achieving lucidity, which isn't the be all end all, you know, there's a lot to dreams other than just lucid dreaming, but being able to unlock and awaken to those other experiences that we of consciousness have the potential to be able to open ourselves up to. And so thank you again, everyone, for being here. I'm excited to be able to get the talking stick passed around. And so my quick answer, what brings me to Dream Class? 30 seconds or less. Dream Class to me is important because not only does it call me into a place of action, it is about being able to see the value of the synchronicities that unfold between us across multiple dimensions as well. I'm fascinated in being able to hear other people's dreams experiences, including experiences where people dream of me, which I'm actually going to be sharing during tonight's broadcast. Some people that have left dream comments in the discussion chat in the Paradigm Shift Central team Discord, which you can find the link for in the YouTube in video info, have talked about dream experiences with me. So anyways, that's one thing. That's more than 30 seconds. But it's about, as I've said before, it's about waking up to a multidimensional reality, exploring these ever-present mysteries together. That's the one thing about dreams. You can always talk about dreams forever. There is an infinite unfolding mystery. We will never run out of something to talk about in relation to dreams because there's always going to be more to discover. There's always going to be more mystery to be able to look at. And again, it's about being able to develop the practice, the habit, unlocking those abilities as conscious superheroes, as metaphysical badasses. Change it up to metaphysical badasses, cosmic superheroes. But again, being able to see the collective story as a community is something very, very important. And as we look into dreams individually, it will unfold into every other aspect of our life. So dreams are a very holographic thing. And that's why they're important to me. And that's why dream class is important to me, because I want dreams to be something that are seen as important to more people. And yeah, 100th monkey effect, right? As we wake up within our dreams, it kind of ripples. Okay, I'm gonna get things set up here, and there's a couple people who are looking to be able to join. Jacob, I'm gonna send you a link to be able to join real quick, and as I do this, I want to be able to invite who would like to go first to be able to take the talking stick and to be able to share a little bit about what brings them to dream class, and then after that we'll start getting into the stories, as I said. So somebody just wants to give me some spirit fingers if you want to go first, and we will pass the talking stick over to you. David, awesome. Before I pass the talking stick to David, I just want to be able to introduce him real quick. David, this is his first time on the broadcast. Him and I have been connected for a decent while, but he's a really amazing YouTube creator, as are many of us here in the community. That's a big thing that we're encouraging, the creation of conscious media. And he's known on YouTube as the Angry Hippie. Some of you have already seen his videos, the species with amnesia. And yeah, I'm excited to be able to have him here and to be able to pass the talking stick over to him. So David, let me bring your microphone up and go just do a quick microphone check. You can hear me okay, dude?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect, man. Awesome. Wonderful, man. So passing the talking stick over to you, David, thank you so much for being here, or whatever name you would like to go by, and please feel free to introduce yourself and what brings you to dream class tonight. Go ahead, dude.
Hi guys, I'm the Angry Hippie, and to express my experiences in the dream world, as I believe this entire reality is a dream world. What we deem to be the definitive truth about the nature of reality may be an illusion based off certain bits of information that our mind has processed. Creates a construct of reality, which is, in a metaphor, is like the Matrix. The dream world may not be the facade, and may access point to which we are peeking through reality into reality altogether. You guys go into that, and everyone has their point of view that is a part of the entire 360-degree perspective on the situation. So I just wish to contribute to that. So yeah, thank you for having me, and I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you again, dude. There was a little choppiness in the mic, but it might have been my end actually, but just let you know, but the majority of it came through. I think it's okay though. So.
Probably my Wi-Fi. I should probably
it
plug
could be
in
that. Okay. Yeah, if you could fix that, that'd be awesome. We'll do that before we pass it back again. Thanks, dude. All right, we'll keep passing the talking stick around, and again, who would like to go next? Just give me some spirit fingers on camera, and I'll pass the talking stick over to you. And everyone here is just so incredibly polite. They're just like, someone else will go first. I'll let someone else go first. I'll let someone else go first. All right, who wants to break the mold and go next? Otherwise, okay, sweet. All right, Josh and Josh's friend, who will be able to introduce himself. I'll pass it over to you two and bringing the microphone up. Thank you, Josh, so much for being back, and thank you for bringing your friend. So, Josh and your friend, go ahead when you're ready.
Laura.
Thank you, Laura. Nice to meet you.
I'm Josh, and this is Laura. And what brings me to dream class is the universe told me to join. So I joined last minute, and dreams, they're all over the place. I've been wanting to like document what I've been dreaming about, but I have so many dreams in the night, and I just can't find myself to like wake up and write them down. But I've been actually learning a lot from just a dream, you know. In general, it's an amazing thing.
I find it interesting how to hear other people's stories and how they feel connected to their dreams and what it does for them.
And that's that's
Awesome.
pretty much it for now. We're in BC having a great time, going for walks and
Awesome. Well, Josh, Laura, thank you for joining us, and yeah, I look forward to being able to share some more stories. So awesome.
thank you.
Sweet. Again, we got shifters all over the place so far. Last three we're all in Canada though, so go Team Canada. All right, passing the talking stick around next. We got Jenna and we got Shakti. One of you will go next. Who's it gonna be? Who is it gonna be? Show me them spirit fingers if you want to go next. Shakti. All right, Shakti. Let me bring up the microphone for you. Shakti, welcome back to another broadcast. Thank you so much for being here. And what's the deal with dreams? What brings you to dream class, Shakti?
Thank you. I'm thinking a lot about dreams lately, actually, because I believe that the dreams are a portal into your subconscious mind. And I think that it's kind of like a primordial kind of trait that we have as beings. The ability to dream is really wild and it's really far out. And so I like to contemplate the topic of dreams. And as I start to become more and more aware of my dreams, I just like to hear about like what other people are dreaming about, and also tie it into visioning. So like there's this fine line in between for me, like, or maybe not even, it's a spectrum of visions, dreams, where you're seeing those and what part of the brain is that being experienced, what part of the body. So it's really broad and it's really deep. So I just want to talk about it. That's why I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yes, I like that question, or that idea of just like, where do dreams take place in the body? You know, if you were to just go up to a scientist and just be like, well, your food digests in your stomach, your brain's in your head, you know, your eyes blink, we know where everything's happening. Where do dreams take place? You know, like, are they? And some people would say if we were associating an organ with dreams, it would be the pineal glands, you know, which is, again, opens up a whole nother portal of discussion. So see what I did there?
It has something to do with like the eyes as well, and then that,
the cortex,
external consciousness.
Yeah. Because there's and this is, you know, just hitting upon this real quick, and we'll branch into more topics as we go. People, if I'm not mistaken, there is like the idea that when you're dreaming visually, whatever it is that you're seeing within your dream, there's like a corresponding data of it that can actually show up within like the rods and cones of your eyes. There has been, wow, this is weird. Okay, I'm either confusing this as like something that I saw that isn't real or something that I saw that is real, but it was basically a device that was able to get a very obscure, blurry imaged form of what people were dreaming, using like something that they were reading within the brain, and it was just like a very pixelated form. Wow, weird, because I'm like, I swear I saw this like years ago, and you think they would have evolved it by then. I don't know, guys. Has anybody else even heard of that? Like, is that?
I think we need to watch Inception, guys.
That was a good documentary for sure. But I feel that just the idea of like where visually things that happen in a dream can actually happen in our brain. So a record of our dreams can actually be recorded within our brain through the rods and cones related to the visual cortex. Was at least,
and that's also where we get those like ancestral flashbacks, because it's stored in your DNA, the dreams, the visions.
Okay.
Passed down.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Right,
Ancestral
so thanks for having
dreams.
me. I'm coming in here from New York.
Thank you for joining.
And I'm just saying what up to you guys in cool ass Canada. Yeah. Canada's where it's at.
We're all pretty close. We're all like in like a pretty close bubble right now, kind of, except for BC. So, But anyways, thank you, Shakti, for being here, and I look forward to talking more about dreams, especially ancestral dreams. Damn. Okay, lots more to get into. Let's keep passing talking stick around. We have Jenna. We also have Omega, who recently joined. So Jenna or Omega, one of you give me a thumbs up or something if you would like to go next, and we'll pass the talking stick over to you. And I think Jenna put her hand up, and so I'll pull Jennifer's microphone up. Jenna, would you like to go next?
Yes.
Okay,
always.
sweet. All right, Jenna,
Hello,
welcome
everyone.
back. What brings you to Dream Class? Go right ahead.
First off, I am not from Canada. Okay, can we hear woo for the U.S., but not really. But
Woo.
you know,
I like everyone.
I love everyone. Yeah, love, right? We're all love. So what brings me to Dream
So,
Class?
Jenna, if you can,
So
get
all
closer
of
to your
my life-
microphone. Sorry, before you get into it, if you're able to.
Can you hear me?
It's better, yeah.
What?
Get
What
closer.
about my microphone? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's good enough. Go for it.
Hello? Okay, we can hear me? I'm good?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. All right. So, what brings me to Dream Class? All of my life, I have had very potent dreams, ever since childhood. Throughout my whole life, multiple things, visions or memories or dreams have come up, just in my everyday life. And I'm constantly trying to figure out, what is that? Is it a dream that I had as a child? Is it a past memory? Is it a past life? Is it a future vision? And when you really come down to dreams, like, we're really just living in a dream. Like, depending on your belief system, many would say that we're just God's dreaming this reality, right? So you really think about, if we have dreams, then who's to say that another being or another entity isn't dreaming our lives, right? So it really is such a deep subject on so many levels. Lately, I've been having extremely vivid dreams. I've always been a lucid dreamer. I never knew that lucid dreams were real. I thought that everyone did it. And I think, the reason I've always been lucid is, like, in my childhood, I always had that, like, fight or flight response. So I kind of always had to be aware while I was dreaming. So I think that's why I'm able to do it now. And I really feel like, if you are trying to lucid dream, like, that's really where it starts. Really just trying to focus on your surroundings while trying to dream. So, that's what brings me to Dream Class. And I can talk more later about some dreams I've recently been having. So thank you.
So we'll keep passing talking stick around, and again, that's the beautiful thing about a team, is that we kind of get an idea of how different people dream, and how each of us kind of have our own relationship with the dream space. Some of us, like in chapters where sometimes I'll be focusing on my dreams more and sometimes a little bit less. Over the past month, I'll be honest, I haven't been focusing on my dreams as much. A lot of my focus has been going into, like, the physical reality. And again, like, that's totally cool. And now that I've been completing a lot of work, I feel I'm opening up the space to be able to spend time focusing on my dreams. Now, it's kind of an interesting idea because, in a way, like, and I have to be careful with how I say this, but sometimes being able to focus on our dreams can be thought of as a luxury, meaning it's an extra amount of practice that not everyone will have the immediate opportunity or time to be able to invest in. And so, for example, this could be, say, someone who's working like a busy 9-to-5 job, and they're working they wake up early in the morning, and it's just like go, and then they work throughout the day, and they get home and they're exhausted and they just want to sleep and just kind of like shut off completely, and then they wake up and they do it again, right? For a person in that type of lifestyle, it can be hard to make that extra time before bed to be able to lucid dream, have the conscious awareness to be able to do reality checks throughout the day, have that time in the morning to be able to write down your dreams upon recall. And again, I think over the past, and I know this, over the past like week, I've just been like so invested in just like completing this physical workload, which I'm happy to have completed, and to be able to have launched through the December 21st, which is like the upgrade to the website and everything, and be able to share that with everyone. And now, as I kind of like shift through that, I'm like, sweet, I'm going to be able to intentionally focus more time on being able to develop more of my dream practice. And when I'm not focusing as much on my dreams, I'm still having them, but honestly, my recall sometimes, like, it fades pretty quickly. Like, if I'm not writing them down, like, by the time it's like, you know, just an hour into the day, it can be very hard to be able to remember the dreams. And that's something that many of us do experience. And again, that's part of the benefits of being able to write dreams down. The more you write them down, the better you get at recalling and remembering them in the first place. So yeah, I know that when my focus isn't fully on my dreams, I know what they feel like. And at the same time, when I know that my focus is on my dreams, I know that they can get like super ripe and potent and vivid and emotional and magical. And so now, as I'm kind of shifting through different phases of my own experience, I'm excited to be able to return to my dream practice with that extra degree of intention. And then again, to be able to have the channel of the quest journals to be able to practice documenting my dreams, be it through written or video logs. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Passing the talking stick around a little bit more, we still have Yuga as well as Omega who is here, and then we'll just get into some free flow story sharing. So Omega or Yuga, if one of you wants to go next, just give me a thumbs up and I'll pass the talking stick over. Sweet Yuga. All right, Yuga, welcome back to another dream class. Thank you so much for being here, brother. Once again, passing the talking stick over to you. And what brings you back to dream class, aka why are dreams interesting to you and important? Go ahead, dude.
Actually, it's kind of been the opposite for me. I've been focusing more on not dreaming, but I will talk about something you touched upon about the luxury of being able to delve in the dream world. A while ago, I had found out that I am a dream walker, and sometimes I don't get to have the conscious experience of dreaming. But recently, I realized that a lot of the stuff that's happening right now in my life is stuff I've dreamt about probably within the last 2 years. And for me, my personal work, kind of as a dream walker, but also just as growing through this path, is understanding what is happening in my dreams and how it's going to happen eventually, because too many of my dreams have been coming true. And also, one thing that was really, really trippy was to realize I remember more of my time in the dream world than being here on this physical plane. Someone in the Discord had talked about it, and I have a lot of experience with it, but insomnia, having that Discord with, not to be a fun, having that discord with the dream world and not being able to delve effectively or at all, it's a big burden. And ultimately, it feels like the dream world is kind of our saving grace from this chaotic plane that we've been suffering on for our whole lives, basically. But I think I'll just cut it off for there, and I'll touch on more stuff as we get into this.
Awesome.
Well said, by the way. Sorry.
That's good. Thank you, Yuga. Thank you, David. Sweet. Awesome, man. Again, you know, so much variety in just the people here on the team and the unique experience that we bring together as a community. I just wanted to go back real quick, and then we'll pass the talking stick. We do have two more players. We have was that Danny who joined, and still we got Omega. Danny, good to see you, man. All right, so with the last comment that I made, you know, the idea of thinking about how being able to focus on our dreams is a luxury. That again, I was like, I have to be careful with how I say that, because that comment is also kind of part of a bigger story of this overarching narrative that's kind of taken place that I'm simply sharing just so that we can be aware of it, so that we can really focus more on valuing our dreams. Is when we understand that, you know, society, and I've talked about this in the past in other dream classes, but very simply put, society in a way has robbed people of their dreams. And again, that's a very strong phrase to be able to say, but you look at the majority of people in culture who again are kind of like in this like autonomous kind of work mode and everything like that, and stressing about things. The majority of culture right now, the majority, like literally like almost probably like over 98% of the people are not engaged with their dreams, meaning that they are not remembering their dreams, they are not writing down their dreams, they are not recognizing their dreams as importance. And then that in itself like has been you know, kind of brought into that, like that has that is a side effect of the fact that, you know, it's the diet we have, it's the stimulus that we engage with, it's the fact that people fall asleep looking at their phones and wake up looking at their phones. And so it's like all of this together has basically taken away people's dream experiences. You think if someone were just out in nature by themselves, like within a week they would start remembering their dreams, and I guarantee you would get like more and more like vivid and just engaging and everything like that. So for all of the people out there in society right now who have had their dreams like robbed from them, again, and I'm not trying to make society sound like it's the bad guy, I just kind of mean in a way it was kind of like, are we calling them the victims here or something like that? But it's more of just a side effect of culture. But again, we obviously want to be able to shift from victim to victor if we're sort of taking that mentality. And that's where, you know, it is a form of shiftivism. It is a form of rebellion to be able to focus on our dreams. That is like one of the most empowering things that we can do within today's day and age, is to reclaim our sovereignty, our cosmic sovereignty, both physically within this waking dimension and within the multidimensional aspects. And so again, by society having all these things in place, which is just a side effect of everything happening, so to speak, or maybe it was grandly, you know, maybe they designed society so that people wouldn't remember their dreams, so that they keep them dumbed down or something like that. Again, I'm not trying to get into conspiracies or anything, but nonetheless, it is a great perspective, or at least a great understanding, to be able to help call more of us into action, for us to be the 100th monkey, for us to be able to help be the ambassadors to these higher dimensional realms in a lot of ways, which is a big thing of what the dreams can do. You know, each of us can be thought of as messengers, and through the dreams we can deliver messages that are being brought through by higher dimensional consciousness. Quick idea, we kind of talked about this in the past broadcast, but for me it was a big paradigm shift to almost think that there's like these higher dimensional beings or parts of ourselves that are up in the the place above the physical. They're in the astral, and they themselves help actually orchestrate divine messages that they deliver to us as humans, as conscious species, through dreams. And so you can imagine like these higher dimensional cells are just like, oh sweet, I'm gonna, maybe like they're crafting a dream, if we want to think about it that way, or at least it's the message, and I'm gonna create this beautiful message for humanity, and we're gonna put it into someone's consciousness so that they dream about it, and so that when they wake up they can pass that message on to humanity and help accelerate the story, help move something forward. And then so we can be present to receive that as a gift if we are at that state. But what if there are a lot of us who are like almost potentially getting that, but then we don't engage with our dreams quite in the same way, so we don't remember it quite in the same way? Or the other side of that story is that those higher divine messages will only be sent into the dreams of people who are ready to receive them, meaning that as you engage more with your dreams, you're actually opening up to the possibility of higher dimensional intelligence, aliens, if you want to think of it that way, even to be able to be like, sweet, this person's awake, this person's paying attention, let's send them a message, or let's make contact with them. And this is like such a crazy idea, because, you know, when we're talking about aliens and UFOs and all that stuff, there is a very real reality happening right now that we are waking up to when we realize that contact, like alien contact, is happening within the dream space. Like it's literally happening in the dream space, like right now. It already has been happening, but is it going to start happening more? Can we start opening up to that? Is awakening within our dream space literally a Stargate off-world to be able to connect with higher dimensional intelligence, councils, masters, ascended teachers, and all of these things? So it's amazing just kind of start to think about that, and you're just like, okay, maybe I should start paying attention to my dreams. Like, what if someone were to literally say, hey, if you want to meet aliens, all you have to do is this, and this. And what that is, that list is related to dream practice. It means you have to pay attention to your diet. It means you have to do exercise and take good care of yourself in general. It means you have to stop looking at your phone every night and every morning before you go to bed. It means you have to write down your dreams. It means you have to meditate. It means you have to do reality checks. And it means you have to do like introspective reflection to be able to develop your memory recall, plus a whole bunch of other practical tips. If you were to do all of that, what if it was guaranteed that you would meet an alien, and you would meet that alien within your dreams, maybe as a lucid dream or just a very vivid dream? So I'm saying that because it's real, and we've created this space to be able to have these conversations so that as they do happen, we can document them. We can show up to these broadcasts. We can write quest journals and just be like, oh, by the way, here's what happened, right? So we are journalists within this project, within this game. That is how you play Paradigm Shift Central, by being a journalist for the shift in consciousness. And we are literally journalists within our dream space, archivists, so documentarians. So help document, help be an ambassador, go do interviews with aliens in your dreams, show up in your dreams and just be like, hi, I'm reporting on behalf of Paradigm Shift Central. Would you like to share a few words about the nature of reality? And you like interview an alien within your dreams, you know, something like that. Some people have already done this. And then, you know, just keep open to that idea, because I feel that's evidently the reality that we're kind of moving towards. So very interesting, trippy stuff. Yeah, at the same time, keeping it grounded. Oh yeah. Okay, let's keep passing the talking stick around. I just wanted to be able to put that out there and babble for a second. And we do have a couple more players here to be able to introduce, and just want to be able to pass the talking stick. We do have Justin who joined, and we have Omega, and we have Danny as well. So if somebody just wants to wiggle their fingers, give me some spirit fingers to show me that you want to go next. Justin, I know you want to, I think you had something to add on to that as well. Let me just pull up your microphone, or Justin, if you can just unmute your microphone from your end, and we will pass the talking stick over to you. Justin, go ahead and try and unmute the microphone on your end, if you're able to do that.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks, man. All right, Justin, welcome back to Dream Class, to another broadcast. Thank you so much for being here, brother. So again, we're passing talking stick around, basic introductions. What brings you to Dream Class is kind of the question right now, but if you want to reply it to a little bit of the concept I was talking about there, absolutely, and we'll start getting into more free flow as we go. Go ahead, dude. Welcome back.
Yeah, so it's so interesting, and lots of synchronicity happening, because I just happened to get on now, and you're talking about this, and I had to share my experience of what happened to me with my 4-year-old daughter today. Okay, so she starts, and it has everything to do with what you're talking about. It's just fascinating to me, man, because it's like I was manifesting wanting to know more about this after this experience, and now you're talking about it right now, which is just, it just blows my cookies, man. So this is what happened. So I'm sitting here next to her, and she starts singing this song. And I'm like, oh, where did you hear that? I'm like, what are you singing? She said, this is what happened. This is the song you sing when somebody passes away. Keep in mind, my daughter's 4, okay? She just turned 4 in November. So she said to me, she said, when you pass away, that you go past the son, you go past the sister, past the mom and the dad, and you go into a baby and have a new family. And then I said, what? I was like, what? And then I said, well, wait a minute. And I said, well, what happens if you pass away and you don't go into a baby? And so she said, then you die. And I was like, well, what happens when you die? She said, you turn left and then you die. And I said, well, can you remember your old family? She said, yes. She said, you can remember your old family, but you have to tell yourself where you are and tell yourself to remember. And then she told me that there were creatures there with her where she was at. She said that she saw a whole family that passed away because they ate too much and they died, and that they were in this new place where she was at as well. And they went into a new family, and that there were creatures there and she called them herself, she called them aliens. She said they had green eyes and that they were scary, but she went with the other ones and they gave her food and they were nice and they took her to her home there. I said, where was it? Was it here? She said, no, it's not Earth, it's somewhere else. And so, bro, like, it blew my mind because it's coming from a 4-year-old, and she was so detailed in her description. There's no possible logical way. And I said, well, where did you see this at? She said, in my dreams. And I said, wow. So that's amazing. And so at that moment, I realized that my children are having experiences with extraterrestrials, and that it was at that moment I realized that all the millions of people that have had abductions are having them. Some are actually physically in this 3-dimensional vehicle, force of them in their consciousness is being pulled out of them in the dream and taken to these other places where they exist. And so they're having these experiences. Then my other son, it reminded me of how my other son, who at the time he was like 7 or 8, and he was telling me about this dream, very specific. He was giving me a description of grays, and he was talking about how like that they took him somewhere in this field and there was a ship, and that they were asking him for some sort of codes that they said that he had. He didn't know what they were talking about. And then he gave me the code, and it was a series of ones and zeros, man. And you and I know that ones and zeros are what the internet is made up of. Like, it was a specific sequence of ones and zeros in a certain pattern. This was mind-blowing to me, man. And so I just had to share this because I just came in and you just started talking about extraterrestrials and experiences with that in dreams. So I had to share that what was going on with my daughter. And then like about 3 days ago, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, I had an experience where I knew that I was sleeping, and I had felt myself leaving my body, yet I was still in my body, but I felt myself leaving my body, and I went to this other place that I know, I believe with everything that is within me that it was my version of heaven, and that I went there, and I saw all kinds of amazing things there that existed there, and that I took all of the knowledge and information of that place, and I brought it back here. And I started writing it all down and channeling this information, and also connected with this higher version of myself that I refer to now as Malachi, which is a name that I chose. And the interesting part about it is that like this version of me always existed, but never had a name to it. And so when I gave it a name, he became real. And so then I started to connect how the significance and the importance of naming something truly is within this specific space, on how when you name something that it gives it, you have control over it. Because once you know the name of something, you now have control over it. Now, if you think about this, like, you can't do anything here in this space without knowing the name. You can't search for anything without the name of it, or without the description of the name. Everywhere you go, everything has to do with the names of things here. You've got to have a name. Weird. And so it all just kind of tied in, bro. But it was just really just mind blowing, man. Especially my 4-year-old daughter, bro. Today. So I just wanted to share that, and I wanted to get your feedback on what you think, that what you already know, what I know now too. Like, this is real, bro. This is true. Like, we are all experiencing these things, these that, and I also honestly sometimes I'm wondering whether or not that these experiences that we are having with these extraterrestrials and dreams is maybe they're not even extraterrestrials at all, but they're just different versions of ourselves that exist within the multiverse, and we're tapping into those other manifestations and versions of ourselves, giving those versions of ourselves access to these 3-dimensional vehicles, and then now they are controlling this vehicle. And so from the outside, we look like us, but we're not this version of us. We're a different version of us that's manifested. And so much to the point where people can't even recognize us when this happens. And this is something that is happening to us on a subconscious level, so we don't even realize that it's happening when it happens. But it still happens nonetheless. And this is what I have realized, what I have decided to call, to me, this is shifting. That like when you shift, when you shift.
Just I was going to say, just another minute, and then we'll pass the talking stick. So go ahead, though.
You know what I mean? Like when you shift in your reality and your conscious perception or something by the choices you make, or for example, when you are if you work a job, that's a specific version of you. When you're with your family, if you have children, that's a specific version of you. When you're with your friends, that's a specific version. If you're a guy and you hang out with your guys, girls with girls, there's a specific side of you that you allow them to see, and that's the only version of them that maybe you allow them to see, but they don't know the other versions of you that exist. So I am fully convinced that these different sides of us, these different hats that we wear, are literally us manifesting different versions of ourselves, and we don't even realize this. I believe that this is something that we all do and all have, we just don't know it. And if we start giving those things names, then you actually you're able to control them, and be able to separate the fact from them taking control of your vehicle, but able to access them enough to the point to obtain the knowledge that they have from their world and bringing it into your space. So this is my opinion. This is based off of my experience. This is what I believe, and that's it. Thank you.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, like a couple things that you said there, going back to your 4-year-old daughter talking. Fascinating. I mean, all of what you said was interesting, and the idea of like those other versions of ourselves. I guess, you know, it opens up the question: is like, is it within our dreams that we meet those other versions of ourselves? And that is something that I've talked about in a lot of different ways, that it's through our dream space that we literally merge our 5D awareness with our 3D versions of ourselves. You know, it's through the dream space that you can literally see more of like the activated avatar version of yourself, or again, just kind of like more of who it is that you came here to be, if you were to think about it just in a very practical way. The thing about your daughter, I'll just say real quick and we'll pass the talking stick. I think that whole idea of just kids in general dreaming about alien contact is fascinating. Like that is a phenomena worth looking into, and I do feel that is probably happening far more than is being documented or recorded in any form or fashion. And so I think, again, you know, as we grow older, it's by the time we get to like about 11 or whatever that our pineal gland naturally changes, so to speak. A lot of people think it's just like a societal thing, and not to say it can't continue to be practiced in a different way, but I've heard that it's actually like a biological thing where the pineal gland, like our crown chakra, kind of like naturally closes by the time we reach like 11 and stuff like that. So but then it can reopen again, right? So it's like a breath. But prior to that, when you are in that younger area, I think our access to our dream space is very precious, very unique. And absolutely, for anybody who's in the position to be able to like talk to kids about dreams or to encourage that conversation, I think it's not uncommon to be able to hear accounts of them talking about being with, you know, ascended masters, guides, spirit, dreams, aliens, whatever they're calling them. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. So let's keep passing the talking stick around. I'd love to just get more into the discussion as a team. So I want to be able to pass it. We do have Omega and we do have Danny, who have not done their introductions yet. So if one of you two would like to go first, please feel free to do that. Danny, maybe, I'm not sure if Omega's there. So Danny, maybe if you want to go next, please feel free to unmute yourself and we'll pass the talking stick over to you. And again, for people who are tuned in right now, if you're on YouTube, please feel free to share the broadcast. Give that button a like on YouTube as well, and leave your comments afterwards if you're tuned in the future. All right, Danny, let me just give a microphone check, Danny, if I can ask you to do that.
Hello.
Hey, dude. Yes, I'm just going to try bringing up some
Can you
levels.
see me too? I'm not able to see myself on here.
Not right now. It was there earlier, and then your video is turned off right now, but you might be able to turn it back on. But
trying to figure out how to turn it back on.
Okay, cool. But yes, we can see your Legend of Zelda avatar picture of Link, Hero of Time, and multiple dimensions and dreams. There should be a Zelda game that takes place in the dreams. Stand by.
Oh, dude,
coming. Right. All right, Danny, thank you so much for being here, brother. Thank you so much for supporting the team. Thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. Welcome. Passing the talking stick over to you, and tell us a little bit about what brings you to Dream Class and why dreams are important. Go right ahead, dude.
Man, I wish you guys could see me. Okay, so a little bit about me, a little bit my background. First of all, I wanted to say I'm very glad to be here. It is my first broadcast, first one I've been able to attend, and dreams especially are my favorite subject. I've always found dreams to be incredibly profound. So my experience with dreaming and how I view dreaming through my perspective is that I see dreaming as We all know that we are multidimensional beings living temporary human existences. And I believe we are all living various simultaneous existences in multiple dimensions. And when we go to sleep at night, every night I believe we're astral projecting. We're just not consciously aware of it. And sometimes we are viewing those lives that we're living throughout various dimensions through our 3D perspective. That's why it comes back when we wake up in these like very confusing images, because we can only perceive that which we are able to perceive through our 3D 5 senses, you know? So as a child, I've always had extremely vivid and lucid dreams. I've always felt more connected to the ethers and the spirit realm. It wasn't until actually recently that I had remembered that as a child I was able to see spirit beings and elementals. I actually remember seeing like pixies and stuff like that. But so ever since I had my awakening, I had my awakening on 2/22, February 22nd of this year. And since then, my dreams have amped up. And almost every single night, I have had extremely lucid dreams. And sometimes they slow down, but over the past couple months, especially, they've been extremely surreal. And if you don't mind, if I might share a couple.
Danny, we're gonna get into.
So literally, like the other night, I had actually woke up bawling my eyes out.
Danny, I was just gonna say we'll share one for now, and then we'll share another one after, if that's cool. Yeah, because we'll get into the sharing once we're done the introductions too. But that's perfect, dude. Go for it.
Extremely. So like I was saying, like, and sometimes they slow down, but over the past couple months, especially, that I can hear myself. That's really surreal.
Yeah, that's one of the microphones. I just have to mute, but I don't see which one it's coming from. There it is. All right, perfect. Okay,
Is that my voice?
echo. Oh God, the dimensions are catching up with themselves. Okay, you're good now. Go ahead, Danny. This is just a dream.
All right. So like I was saying, I view dreams as being sometimes we are viewing just our subconscious creation, and we're in this sort of reality, like we're in this reality where it is just our subconscious creation. Like I try to pair like that whole Carl Jungian philosophy perspective as far as viewing and interpreting like our subconscious dream state and whatnot. But there are other times where I believe we astral project and we're viewing what our other selves are doing. And I had this dream the other night. I believe that I was viewing myself in a parallel timeline of Earth. Maybe not even Earth, maybe another like 3-dimensional planet, I'm not sure. But in this reality, in this timeline, the Greys had actually invaded. And what I remember was I was in this city, and it was like this kind of advanced city. And I remember looking up into the sky, and there were these light ships everywhere, and the sky was like this ominous dark red, and there was like just flashes of light everywhere. And I remember people just screaming and running around everywhere, and there were these drones flying around and chasing after people. And I remember running, and I had actually like stole this kind of like motorized scooter thing. So that's why I'm thinking like the technology was different in this, whatever this reality was. And I remember stealing the scooter, and I was like driving through this city, and I was avoiding the drones, and I was trying not to get caught. And then I had I made it to like the outskirts of the city, and I was running through this forest. And then I found this house that was kind of like in the middle of nowhere. And in this house, there was like a bunch of like refugees kind of hiding away, and a bunch of people I don't even recognize, which is kind of weird because, you know, a lot of the time the faces you see in your dreams are people you actually know or recognize, or like familiar people. But then I kind of woke up. You know, that was pretty much it. I have a lot more experiences like that, but I can save those for later.
Awesome. Danny, thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, absolutely. I love what the idea of what you were talking about there, of there being multiple parallel realities, and through our dreams we actually get to see into them or get to experience and perceive them. We've definitely crossed into that topic in past dreams class, but again, I think it's like a lot of these topics, what you'll find with dream class is that, you know, we'll go through these recurring cycles of talking about certain things at different times in different places, and as we do, it's us becoming more familiar as we adjust to what this new reality is, to what like the totality of reality actually can be. And again, and I feel as we move into the future, just kind of like imagine a future where it's like normal for people to understand that they are multidimensional beings, and within their dreams they're entering and accessing these multidimensional states of awareness. And again, seeing it through adults, seeing it through kids, I would love to see a culture built around an understanding and a foundation of what dreams are, and just really seeing them as something sacred in that sense. But Danny, again, thank you. And you said you got another story you'll be able to share later as well. So that's perfect. So just double checking here to make sure. Can you guys give me a thumbs up in the YouTube Hangout if it's okay? I know I can tell it's kind of glitching a little bit. Just give me a big old thumbs up. You guys might have lost my voice there for a second, but okay. All right, Danny, thanks again, man. That's good. Was there anything else you wanted to share right now? Just about why dreams are awesome and stuff. Check.
Like, if you want to become more lucid with your dream state.
Sorry, say that again. I only got the last end of it.
Yeah, you're glitching again.
Okay.
I said I do have. I don't know if now's the right time for it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. They might not be able to hear me. All right, Danny, we'll get into doing more short story sharing shortly, and we'll try passing talking stick around. Again, I just got to see whether or not my browser is going to crash, and stand by. For those of you in the YouTube chat, if you just want to drop an 1111, let me know if you can hear me okay. And I just got to give it 1 second here to be able to see whether or not the broadcast is going to still work. Okay, it's fine. All right, it should be okay. Again, it's just my browser.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, it should be fine now. All right, we may or may not have lost the feed there for half a second, but we're okay. All right, Danny, thank you again. Let's keep passing talk and stick around, and we'll get back to you in due time. So thank you, brother.
Okay, for sure.
Awesome. All right, passing talk and stick around some more. We still have a couple more shifters who have joined. We have Josu as well as Omega. So if one of you two would like to go next, just wiggle your fingers or give me a thumbs up real quick, and we'll pass it over to you. All right, Omega, we will pass it over to you next. Let me pull up your microphone. So, dude, welcome back to another broadcast, and passing this talking stick over to you. Just share a little bit about your name and what brings you to dream class, and a little bit about, why dreams are interesting to you. So go ahead, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When you're ready.
Glad to be here. Can you hear me? Glad to be here. I definitely want, I just, I want to keep it real quick. I'm usually pretty direct when I give this information, but for the most part, yeah. What brought me to this broadcast was just pure intuition, but the ultimate thing about dreams, I wanted to start giving a correlation to things that I wanted to mention on, I think Malachi and also Yuga, some things that they brought up were about dreams. For me, dreams is actually a bigger project, and it's reality. It's everything that we are working with. We just haven't understood through a process, through what actually is in fact being, what's actually in play is what I'm talking about. For the most part, though, it seems like as if terrestrial beings or anything that may seem outside of us is really just ourselves. For the most part, there's a reason why we're here. And the main thing I wanted to get the idea across was we're actually here to merge, integrate, shift everything into existence. I mean, reality, everything already exists. It just needs a way to get to a place to be, so that we can actually understand it in our physical being. So what's really happening is all the different multi-dimensions are converging with what we are right now. So as you notice, third dimensions that stem down. And what it really is just the connections that we've lost within the merge, since we're experiencing things at the ultimate way to play within the 3D persona of ourselves. It's a hard process to understand since we're looking at things and feeling and touching and moving with it, so overly dreaming is basically the imagination that we get to play within. And I feel like it's so important that we're dreaming on a much higher scale. I'm talking like the things that are ever expansive that we really can think of, like it almost has no relation to what this earth existence is right now, this paradigm. It's so detrimental that we're actually expanding to a much greater place. But it is so important that we're here. I think it's so important because I dreamed. I grew up. I didn't have an awakening moment. I didn't have what you would call a point of time when it felt like weird. It felt like weird trying to figure out if reality was real or dreams were real for me. So the biggest point I had to understand, I had so many ideas, so many things coming to me. What you would call extraterrestrial was normal to me. So I decided to make a whole project with it, and I called it Dreams. But that's for a later time. That's a much deeper concept, and I'll definitely be pushing out a lot of things for myself. But I like to play with these things exponentially. For the most part, I think the only thing I want to say is we have to start dreaming on another scale to reach ourselves. You have to find yourself. So I spent this year connecting with people, running into the Paradigm Shift community, many other groups, just over the point to get an idea where people were at. And I found that most people do not know where their self is at. So I cut myself
Give it a second, might be a delay in the feed. Stand by, folks.
off from dreams. I never brought it to this realm, at least in this, not fully, not complete, if that makes sense. For the most part, though, I think I said enough, but I know there's a lot of people that want to speak.
That's good, man. Dude, I love what you're saying there. The idea of having to dream at another level. Because I'll just say real quick, like I think about the idea of we are becoming more aware of the idea that collective meditation is a thing that can make a difference in this world. And so if we're just like, hey, let's all sit down at the same time and focus our intention of compassion and love towards world peace, for example, something in a general sense like that. What if like we literally have the potential to every single night when we dream, if we were just like, hey, let's intentionally dream about the worlds that we want to foresee, and then as we dream them, we're creating that bridge that's helping anchor it into this reality. Again, like we're already doing that naturally, but if we can do that more intentionally, that's a powerful idea. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep tonight and I'm gonna start dreaming about that hoverboard. And then as I dream about that, like eventually it becomes an invention that like some people make because it's kind of like a collective hive mind thing. But yeah, I think even for ourselves, it can be very beneficial to think about how dreams can serve us as individual creators. For example, you fall asleep at night and you're like shaping and forming the things that you want to bring into this reality in your dreams. You're like dreaming about that paradigm shift community that you want to make, or that next music track that you're working on, or that next video that you're editing. And opposed to just working on it physically, you're actually working on it within your dream space intentionally, and within that hyperspace, you're able to like craft and mold these ideas together in just like super next level ways. But yeah, I can start to people in general will start to see the benefits of what dreams can actually be used for. Like they're not just a side effect. There's a practical purpose to the dream space. What is that practical purpose? That's part of the discussion tonight. How can we use dreams to level ourselves up and change the world? So, but yeah, Omega, thank you again, man.
Yes, always.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I think it was.
if you want to respond to that real
Is
quick,
it my turn?
then we'll pass it
Oh,
Go
to
ahead.
Josu.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. All
I
right.
actually have to, but I wanted to just jump in and show up.
Totally, man.
thanks for it, man.
Awesome.
Yes, no problem.
All right, thank you, Omega. All right, we'll keep passing talking stick. Josu, just do a microphone check. You can hear us, okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear y'all. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Awesome. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you so much for joining, man. Welcome to Dream Class, and this is the first time you've been in one of our broadcasts, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, I've been part of the Discord chat since 11/11.
Yes.
That was a crazy thing. We kind of like synced up right now. Like you brought it up. Homie brought up the whole like dreaming to like level up kind of thing. And so I'm kind of new to all of this. I've been talking to you and to, I think it's act in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And another girl. They've been kind of helping me. I guess you can call it leveling up.
Awesome, man.
I never saw like colors before or understood what shapes were or anything like that, but I've seen them like my whole life. So coming like and like trying to understand my dreams or coming to these like dream classes or talking to just the group has helped a lot because it's kind of like been my grounding, I guess you can call it. Because separation is crazy sometimes and like real scary. And I guess the whole part that I wanted to share was I know I had put like a picture in the Discord group of like, and it was funny because you said like, oh yeah, I think you're seeing like Chuck E. Cheese and something else, and I looked further into it and I was having a couple conversations with people, and I've been getting really, I guess, involved with like nature and stuff. So seeing my dreams go from full shapes or just like colors or just things like that, and then now starting to take form into like animals or things like that. I started looking up like what the animals meant or what this color meant or things like that, and it just kind of took off to a whole deeper space, I guess you can call it. And it's making a lot more sense now to be able to see these things and like to try to understand my own dreams and to know that those things have always been there. But I just like he said, I took myself out of that and try not to focus on it because it was like really hard for me to try to understand that kind of stuff. Or I came from a religious background, so I guess you can say like if you saw those kinds of things or try to understand those kinds of things, it was blasphemy. You know what I'm saying? So like it's cool to just come into the group and I guess have that safe space where you can talk to people about not knowing what the fuck you're seeing or like not understanding
Mm-hmm.
everything at its
Yeah.
entirety. So I guess that's why I'm at Dream Class today. I don't
Awesome,
know.
man.
I just woke up
Yes, thank you for
and
being here.
now I'm here. You know, like because I'm in China, so I left America like to get away from everything, and yeah, I mean I guess that's what I'm
Well, awesome. Thank you.
synchronization.
Thank you for
Synchronization.
synchronizing. Yes. That's awesome, man. Happy to have you here. Yeah, and again, thank you for just reiterating like, the value of just having a space to talk about these things as a community. Because I think absolutely, if you were to totally just try to explore the whole dream space as an individual, I think you would only get to a certain point. You need to kind of bounce ideas back and forth. You need that support to just be able to be like, oh, okay, you know, like it's okay that I don't fully understand everything, but to be able to foster the curiosity and to have the support of the community, that's a very, very, very powerful thing when it comes to dreams. It's just to, you know, like keep looking further, and then they start to reveal themselves to you over
you're
time,
leveling
knowing
up,
you're looking.
leveling up.
The dreams know when you're
Every
looking.
day.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 11:11 on our end right now, so synced up with that there too. So
Oh, swear to God.
bonus
that's-
points. Bonus points to everyone in the broadcast right now. Ding 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 ding. Make a wish.
Oh
says
yeah. Well, hey man, 11 here found it, so that's all I gotta say.
Awesome, man. All right, Josu, thank you for joining and welcome again. So
Yeah, man.
awesome.
Hey, and just to make it easier on you, it's Josh. Just call me Josh.
Totally cool. All right, we'll keep passing the talking stick around as we move into kind of the next phase of the broadcast where we're going to be sharing some dream stories. And I'll just share a couple dream stories right off the bat. Now, these are not dream stories from my own dream experiences, but these are some dream stories from within the team Discord chat that has been shared to the Dream Discussion channel. And again, if you are not on the team Discord yet and you're looking to synchronize with the team and to be a part of these ongoing discussions to play the game in that way, then please feel free to join the team Discord at tinyurl.com/paradigm shift chat. And the link for that is in the YouTube info. So that's what we use all throughout the week to continue to communicate and collaborate as a team. So actually, the first thing that I have here is the dream that Josh actually had, and maybe I don't know if Josh wants to expand on this. Josh, can you give me a thumbs up? Can I read what you wrote in the Discord chat real quick? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, I'll read this, and then obviously I'll pass it over to you, and then if you want to expand on this. Now again, like, throughout the years that I've been doing the Paradigm Shift Central project, there have been numerous people that have come up to me and talked to me about experiences that they've had where I've shown up in their dreams. Obviously, this has been something that is interesting to me. I think it's interesting to anybody, and it's interesting to me because sometimes I'll see parts of myself like through what I do in a dream. It might show me a part of myself that maybe I haven't thought too much about, or there's some like interesting parallel realities or parallel coincidences between what happens in somebody else's dream with me and my own reality. And so reading this one, I'll actually mention in particular what one is. There's been a past dream in particular that stood out to me that someone else has had. Some people, actually multiple people, have kind of had a similar dream, but it was a dream where I was like facilitating like an ayahuasca ceremony for them. And I thought that was really interesting. I haven't even done ayahuasca yet. I've experienced DMT, but I haven't done an ayahuasca ceremony. But again, you know, I can understand why that person would kind of have that dream, because us doing these broadcasts, us doing these meditations, me facilitating week after week after week, it's interesting for me to kind of like show up in their dream that way, and then for me to hear that and be like, oh, okay, wow, that really reflects on the fact that, you know, like as a energy, this is what people acknowledge me as, and this is also something that I am becoming more of. So when other people have dreams of us too, it can be very interesting. But again, it's not like an absolute finite thing. It's very malleable. So Josh, at Key of Light, in the team Discord chat on December 7th, 2018, so a couple weeks ago, he wrote, the first dream I had last night, I wrote down as we spent quite some time chatting last night in the team hangout chat. This, me and Josh were up last night hanging out with other people. Skull Babylon was on the back of an ATV, and I was controlling in a place I knew well, holding on for dear life. I tried to go faster and something wouldn't let me. We stopped at a place with a nice view of the moon. Sorry, I'm just seeing. Guys, give me a thumbs up if the feed's still working. It was glitching out there for a second. I'm just going to go back a second there. Okay. I think it's okay. Okay. Skull Babylon was on the back of an ATV. So I'm driving an ATV, and Josh was holding on for dear life as we were driving together through a place that he was familiar with. I tried to go faster, but something wouldn't let me. We stopped at a place with a nice view of the moon, which is interesting because we're on a full moon right now on the solstice, as he jumped off and sat on the ground with feet together, saying his legs were sore from sitting very still in one precise spot. Then it ended. LOL weird. I had to share though. So the only thing that's just like, first of all, thank you, Josh, for sharing. And I think it's hilarious just to imagine me and you driving around on an ATV together. That sounds fun. And the moon thing is like always very interesting to me. I'm a big, big fan of the moon and full moons and wolf stuff. But the thing that stood out for me in particular was the idea of saying, me saying to you that my legs were sore from sitting in one precise spot. It's interesting that you said this, because I have not said this to you, but one thing that's like a part of my reality is the fact that my legs do get sore from sitting at a computer working a lot during the day. So I always have to like make time to be able to like go exercise, to stretch, to make sure I move, because like literally, you know, like I'll be up working, I'll be doing these broadcasts and I'm like sitting in one spot. So it's just like, it's weird because that's like something that crosses my mind regularly throughout the day. And this was just something that I said to Josh in the dream, and it was slightly different because it just said like my legs were sore from sitting in one spot, as if I was like meditating, but I guess I'm meditating when I'm working. Anyways, there's just a weird little coincidence, like a little connection of the dots there. And then another thing that I'll read here, and this is actually a dream from... actually, maybe I'll just skip that. I'll pass it over to Josh. But there was another dream that Manders had that I wanted to be able to share. That was like the paradigm shift movie, she called it. So some people, as we're growing as a team, are actually having more and more dreams with other paradigm shifters in each other's dreams. And that's kind of something we'll get to as we discuss this broadcast. And by the end of it, we'll do a meditation on our dream tree. And again, the dream tree is a location in the imagination realm, in the dream realm of a tree where we gather around. And right now in a parallel reality, we're all right there around the tree right now. And then we meditate on it at the end. But again, moving in towards that reality when more and more of us are actually using the dream space like a virtual reality, like an internet, to be able to intentionally connect and meet up and have these discussions and experiences. So, but anyways, Josh, I just want to pass it over to you, and then we'll start going around with some stories. So if other people want to share some stories, get ready for them. Josh, I'm just pulling up your microphone if there is anything you want to reply and any other dreams that you want to share, if you would like to in this moment. Josh, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Was there anything else related to that dream that needs to be talked about or anything like that as a dream story?
Well, no, that's just really crazy that you said that about sitting so still, because it totally made sense, because I was like, you know, like it was just you I saw you meditating, and it was immediately after we got off the ATV, and like I was like, why would his legs be sore, you know? And I thought maybe it was from sitting so long, like on a seat, you know, like in general. So it's weird that you related it to that in your real life.
That's a real thing for me, man. Straight up. Like
that's so cool, man. Like
that's interesting.
Because yeah, it didn't seem like it really related to the ATV at all, because we were having a fucking blast on that.
Sounds like it.
That's what we do here for fun.
Yeah, that's what we do here for fun. A lot of us do, like, because we have these mountains here, right?
Oh, nice. Awesome. So ATVing is a part of your reality then?
Yes, it is.
Right on, right on.
And I was giving you a little bit of a taste of it, I guess.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. So.
And then you gave me a little bit of taste of your reality
there you go.
In the same dream.
Now here we are again. So cool. Well,
like I said, I don't know. I've been having lots of dreams lately, but I've been sleeping like 11, 12 hours a night. Almost every night. It's like I've been kind of feeling like it's because I don't have anything to do during the day or have a routine, but at the same rate, I think it's because we're getting up to solstice now, and I'm naturally just getting as much sleep as we need to get.
It's time for a rest.
Yeah. And I really want to get into like recalling my dreams more vividly, because I do find that every time I write them down, they do, like you start remembering certain parts about your dream because you don't quite know how to put them into words. I think words and images kind of directly relate. And I would like to get up and start drawing an image of what I'm dreaming eventually too. I think that would be a very powerful technique to kind of portray what's happening.
Awesome, man.
And I don't know.
No, that's good, man. Like, one of the things I was going to say for anybody else who has a talking stick, please feel free to use the talking stick to make vocal any intentions that you have. So for example, like you saying there, and even if you just want to reiterate, like my intentions are to ... to, and I love the idea of drawing, especially, like if you're a visual person, being able to draw what you see when you wake up from a dream. I know people that do that. That can be very powerful. And especially if you're showing up with that intention, then maybe the dream will start showing up with particular symbols for you to draw in the morning. So I know I've drawn a few of those when I wake up every now and then. But yeah, Josh, go ahead. Or any other intentions that you would like to clarify for yourself moving forward, dream wise?
Well, and the whole dreaming and writing and drawing thing, I'm not a big drawer, but I feel like it would increase my abilities to draw as well as dream about what I'm drawing, and maybe have like a more of a vivid imagination once I start just drawing whatever I see, regardless of how it's going to turn out, because I've never been big at drawing. So that's another intention that I'd like to set, is
cool, man,
just to get.
I can teach you.
Yeah, and Laura likes to draw too, so that's
awesome.
a part of my life now.
Awesome. Cool. Sweet, man.
And
that sounds good.
I think Joe, the other Josh, was saying something there.
The other Josh would like to jump in. Let's check. Josh, give me a thumbs up if you would like to say something. And let me just see. And Lori, if there's anything you want to say as well, just let us know. And one second.
I just hoping I can remember my dreams at some point.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Josh, I was bringing up your microphone. Josh, did you want to reply?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I just wanted to ask, was Josh the meditation leader for last Sunday or the past Sunday?
Josh did a meditation 2 Sundays ago, within the same time frame. Did you listen to that?
Yeah, I was there. He took me to a forest.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's the forest back here.
We were just there.
Yeah.
Cool. I just wanted to ask that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
That's cool.
or anything.
Connecting the dots, so now you know. Right on.
Awesome.
Sweet. All right, let's keep passing the talk and stick around and give some people the opportunity to share some dream stories as we continue to go through dream class together. So who would like to share some stories next? Please just put your hand up and we'll pass the talk and stick over to you. Shakti. Okay, Shakti, and then if somebody wants to let me know if they want to go next, you can put your hand up now, but we'll pass it to Shakti first. So Shakti, pulling up your microphone, passing the talk and stick over to you. Go ahead, tell us the story if you would like, and any intentions as well.
So I was actually doing a little drawing over here of a dream. It's not that great, but I'm talking about this.
Drawing about dreams while we were talking about drawing about dreams?
Yes, it was.
Perfect.
And so
points.
It was like this experience. This was just like a couple of nights ago. You know what? I actually don't know if this was a dream or if it was a vision, actually, if I was meditating or if I was dreaming. But the image was a clearing of a path with like waves, almost as if like a Moses type of image of the waves coming around like this. So kind of like that. And then like kind of time just like standing still. And it was like a silhouette of like the back of my figure walking straight into this like path of white light. So this came to me in a dream, and I feel like I had asked for a vision, and like just came to me about, and I think what it meant was really like walking into the unknown, into your higher timeline, because I'm in this space where I'm also dreaming about I'm dreaming a lot, guys. I mean, I think also somebody was mentioning about sleeping a lot right now. It's like hibernation time. It's like the time of the season where it's winter for most of us here in this conversation, where the energy is going down and in, like that yin energy. It's work, because it's an inward reflection type of thing. So it's like they're more easily accessible. The other thing is a lot of people are reporting it right now because there's been a lot of different types of celestial lineups and solar things coming on down here that are affecting our like kind of sense of being. So that's affecting it as well, like this vivid, lucid dreaming. The topic is like, it's such a juicy topic, honestly, for me. I could just talk about dreams up the wazoo, guys. But I'll share one.
Perfect.
I mean, I wrote down all these dreams as we were talking,
Awesome.
but I'll share one final thing
One
about
final thing, and
specifically.
then give us a practical tip after that.
Okay. I had a dream like one of the day or so after I came into this group of that sigil of the Paradigm Shift Central sigil. But it came to me as the shape of a sword. I had this amazing sword.
Whoa,
And it was this like amazing blade. And I'm a yoga person, so like warrior, you know?
Yes.
And I think a practical thought or offering about dreams is what I opened with, which was I said that it was about connecting to your higher time, connecting to your subconscious, just always looking about what's actually really going on inside. So, you know, where are those dreams coming from? I would suggest also meditating and looking for that space. Like, you know, you don't have to be sleeping to be dreaming. And so I would just like to leave it at that.
First of all,
Thank you for.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And the idea of seeing the Paradigm Shift sigil as a sword, that's accurate. Like that's energy that's actually there. Like it's I've never told you that it's sword like, but that's always been like an association that has been encoded into it. For those of you who look at the Paradigm Shift sigil, which again on YouTube, it's up in the corner there's one place that you can see it, or it's like over my shoulder as well in my room. But you'll notice that again, is my Google Hangout glitching? Give me a thumbs up on Google. How bad am I glitching on Google?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, all right. It happens sometimes. All right, okay. But I was just gonna say, for those of you who look at the Paradigm Shift sigil, take a look at how it looks similar to like the sigil from Thundercats that he has like on the hilt of his Thundercat blade when he's like sight beyond sight, inner vision, oh, and then he holds it up. It's a sword, right? Like it's literally a sword. So the Paradigm Shift sigil, the sword energy, the lightsaber symbolism, it's all there. So that's amazingly beautiful for me to hear that coming and showing up in your dream, Shakti. That's very powerful stuff, and reaffirming in a lot of ways of just like, wow, the like what it is that we're doing as a community. Like we are connecting through our dreams. Like the energy of what it is that we're building does exist beyond the physical, and it's rippling and it's showing up in some really exciting ways. So Shakti, thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. Awesome. All right, we're gonna keep passing around. I think Danny wants to go next. Danny, we're gonna pass it over to you, and I know there's a couple other people who are eager to go as well. So thank you for your patience. And Danny, go ahead, bring up your microphone when you can, and we'll pass the talking stick over to you next. Danny, you can hear me okay? It's all good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just gonna bring the microphone up a little bit more, talk a little bit closer if you can. But yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's good, man. That's fine. All right,
Okay,
go ahead,
cool.
dude. Pass the talking stick over to you. So again, any other story that you want to share, and practical tips, intentions as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, so for me, over the past couple months, I have not been sleeping whatsoever. I maybe get like an hour or two of sleep because I wake up literally like every hour on the dot, and I will have a vivid dream or some sort of astral experience in the astrals. I'll wake up, you know, I'll be awake, kind of confused, and then I'll go back to sleep and I'll pick up right back where it left off. And the other night, this is kind of freaky. I astral projected and I became consciously aware. And in that moment,
Stand by. We're just seeing whether or not the Google Hangout is glitching. Hold on, folks.
I was with this group of people and I looked at them and I was like, hey guys. Now, like in my head, I was thinking, oh, I'm dreaming. And I looked at them and I was like, hey guys, let's go explore. Let's go explore the dream space. And they kind of looked at me weird, and I don't know these people. And they kind of looked at me weird and they shook their head like, dude, you're crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? And like I looked at them and they're like in this kind of trance. And I noticed they're all staring at this TV screen. And I got the sense that they're like in this kind of like hypnagogic state because they're like being hypnotized by this TV screen. And I was like, okay. And then like I had this instinct and I went up to it, I grabbed the TV and I ripped it out of the wall. And then in that moment, everything went dark. I saw these shadows on the wall and they started approaching me. And then I woke up, I was paralyzed, and some sort of force, some sort of presence was suffocating me. It had its hands around my neck and it was trying to strangle me. And I had to, with my, not my physical body, but whatever, maybe my energetic body, I physically had to grab and tear its hands off my neck. And then I remember just like calling on Archangel Michael. You know, that's what I usually do when I get, and when stuff like this happens. And then I woke up and I didn't go back to sleep after that. But yeah, that was pretty much it. So yeah, that was kind of freaky.
Do you one second, I just gotta mute yourself. Do you oh wait, hold on. There you go. Yeah, it like after where you are now, like do you feel freaked out by that still, or are you just kind of like, yep, that happens sometimes? Like how like what do you process out of that experience?
Well, honestly, this I've had experiences like this so many times to now where I'm at the point where I'm just kind of complacent with it. And whenever it happens, it doesn't happen as often as it used to. I was actually surprised that it happened. And it was my mistake because I went to bed without wearing my Oregon pendant, which I set the intention to, you know, for psychic protection. Eclipse and the new moon, about how there's psychic attacks being amped up and whatnot, how they're targeting certain individuals. But I used to be terrified of it. I used to be like walking around in my
hold on, folks.
like,
it's a little glitchy. Oh, sorry. Dan.
Yeah, but now,
oh, go ahead.
So now whenever it happens, I'm like, okay, you know, whatever, like, leave me alone, like, get out of here, let me get some sleep, like, come on, dude, like, F off, you know? So yeah, like, I don't get experiences like that often as I used to, because I feel like I was much more in that kind of fearful state. So, you know, they like to feed off that energy. But yeah, like I've had experiences like this, and like it's really hard when like you start to have like this cognitive dissonance and you're not sure like what's real anymore, you know. But yeah, practical tips. I do have some.
Sorry, folks, if you can hear me right now. I know it's a little glitchy. We're just trying to make sure things are loading properly. If you guys want to drop an 1111 in the live chat, if you can hear me currently, that'd be appreciated. Let me know. And right now, we're just waiting for the browser to be able to catch up. And so we're just giving it a second here. Sorry about that. And so I'm just listening back to the feed. Yeah, so I know you guys can still hear me on YouTube, and hang tight as we see whether or not my browser needs to be restarted. But anyways, thank you so much everyone for being here, for being a part of this discussion. Just reminding you, as we're multitasking here for a second, that you can find all the past broadcasts on Paradigm Shift Radio on iTunes. Okay, hold on. Check. Sorry, Danny, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did I disappear for a minute there? Did that happen? Hold on. This is why we need to get a new computer. So this is why. All right. I'm trying to close a window here and see whether or not that's going to fix it. Sorry, folks. It's not totally within the full realm of control sometimes. Sometimes Google decides to crash, sometimes it doesn't. All right, I'm gonna try closing one thing.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now you should be able to hear me, and hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. Okay. Sorry, dude. I think we lost like the last like chunk of what you were talking about there. Did you want to talk about
Okay.
your practical tip again? Because you're holding
What
up.
was the last thing you heard me say?
Not the practical tip. So go ahead and do that.
All right. So practical tips: clean plant-based diet, preferably, because you wanna decalcify the pineal gland, open the third eye, stay away from tap water, all that stuff. I don't have to tell you that, guys. That. So I do a lot of supplementation. Something I recommend is fermented skate liver oil. You can buy this here on Amazon. And then along with that, huperzine A, that helps with memory and dream recall and like cognitive function overall. And then I have here magnesium, which everybody should be taking anyway, because I feel that most people have a deficiency in magnesium. And that helps with you actually get like that deep restful sleep and whatnot. And then here, this has a lot of benefits. Atomic ormus or monatomic gold. This helps with actually like decalcifying the pineal gland too. So those are just a few supplementations I recommend. And also like, dream journaling, of course. I'll tell you what, guys, like I don't really dream journal that much anymore. I used to a lot, but I feel like I don't have to anymore because I literally just remember everything, on whatever I found was like most profound and like try to make sense of it. But as far as that goes, like I don't really bother with it much anymore. So yeah, I mean,
Cool,
yeah, that's what I got for now.
Perfect. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for sharing. And yeah, again, like everybody's going to have like their own preference to the practice, but yeah, I that's awesome to hear that what you got is working for you. So dude, thank you for sharing. And are there more dream stories that you want to share throughout the broadcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
Textbooks of stuff that wasn't written down, I guess, but you still got it. It's all up here. Okay, cool.
It is all up here.
That's awesome, man. And again, like that's a fascinating idea in itself. And we can just kind of go into free flow discussion as we're here and everything. The idea that everything that happens to us within our dream space is recorded into our consciousness, regardless of whether or not we do directly remember it. And so it's kind of an interesting thing to think that, it's like, it's about being able to like remember, like how to remember, being able to connect to that information that is already there. And so again, that's where I think, with dreams, oftentimes being able to associate them with feelings can often be a very powerful thing, because it might be like the factual ideas that slip our mind, but like the feelings of the dream can kind of bring us back to that information that can like spark the rest of the recall, so to speak. So I always remind people to be able to focus on like how the dreams feel if they're like writing down anything at all or just trying to keep something with them. So, but yeah, Danny, thank you for sharing, man. Is there anything else you want to share at the moment for all the other dreamers out there?
I feel like every dream you have ever had and will ever had is all up here somewhere. Like those don't go away. They're not deleted. And the more you become aware of your dream state and the more you remember, I've found that like I'll remember dreams I had when I was like 5-6 years old, just come out of nowhere. Like I'll be at work, framing doors. That's what I do for my job. And then out of nowhere, I'll just remember this dream I had when I was a child. It just comes out of nowhere, But
it's fascinating.
I definitely have experienced that. I definitely feel you on that one.
Jenna, go ahead. Thank you, Danny.
I just was saying that I definitely agree with that. Like I explained before, half the time I have these visions and I'm like, all these dreams I had as a child, sometimes I know those dreams I had as a child or, what have you. I think the thing is sometimes what I dreamt as a child will manifest and I'll remember that dream as a child. So yeah, I also just I'm actually about to go to bed, guys.
Okay.
A early morning. I wanted to say it was me. I had the dream about you leading ayahuasca.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're.
Stop laughing at me.
Was somebody laughing at you? I don't think anybody was laughing at you. Was I laughing at you? Anyways.
Yeah.
I do have one more thing.
Josh. Yes.
So, Danny, did you have something to say to Jenna? Because I know Jenna's just about to head out, so we'll say goodnight to her in a minute.
I mean, I have like one kind of like theory, maybe like something we can all like give our perspectives on.
Okay.
It has to do with like deja vu and whatnot. But what if?
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say before we do that, Jenna, you're about to head out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really all I wanted to say.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Jenna, and absolutely, people are encouraged to go to sleep during dream class. That is totally encouraged. Take notes. All right. Jenna, talk to you later. All right, sounds good.
Bye.
See you later. All right, everyone say goodnight to Jenna. All right, Danny, let's just check in real quick because I wanted to be able to see if anybody has any other dream stories that they want to be able to share, and then we'll get more into some just like overall theory type play stuff. Is that cool?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, okay, so let's just do that real quick. So does anybody here want to be able to share more stories? Okay, Shakti does. And again, so right now, for those of you listening, we have Danny, we have Josh, Lori, we have other Josh, we have Shakti, and Yuga. And yeah, if anybody else is looking to join in, there still is the opportunity. But we'll pass around the talking stick, share some more stories, focus on some practical tips, and then we'll get close to wrapping up this broadcast in the future. So obviously, Shakti, I'll pass it over to you, and go ahead. You have the talking stick. What would you like to bring to the dream circle, dream class, team, roundtable, circle? Ta-da! Go ahead. Let me just bring up your microphone. That might help. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, you're good now. That was my bad.
All right, cool.
Perfect, go for it.
I want to talk a little bit about group dreaming and a dream that's happening over here.
Mm-hmm.
So in efforts of manifesting something really kind of challenging on the physical plane, myself and some other people around me have been having dreams, seeing visions and receiving signs, all surrounding this same one project. So for example, the other day I had a dream that I was in this house inside of my higher timeline that I owned this space, and it was actually a space that a lot of people in the off-grid living thread on the Discord app are talking about this idea of kind of like an ashram is how I like to think of it. And an ashram is, for lack of a better way to compare it, it is like an army compound or like a church parish or, for example, like a homestead or ranch, like a farm ranch, where you have people living all together, working together in respect of each other and the land, following the seasons, and being completely, co-reliant with each other in the land. So I have a dream that recurs that I'm in this space, surrounded by golden white light and feelings of abundance and beauty and warmth and community and compassion. And so really I'm working on finding those, like what you said, Brendon, those feelings as the quality to attach to dreams. In doing that, in not looking for what the outcome or what the details or what the maybe like code is, but actually just being able to experience is one way that practically we can craft the dream into our vision of our future. So it's kind of comes down to going with the flow, I would suppose you could say. But being able to find like these ways to malleably craft or shape that dream, kind of like waking up within the dream. But when you come together, like I have a team and we're all having dreams around the same thing. So that's one practical thing. If you're really trying to figure something out in a 3D world, get a team of friends together Could be your mom, could be your best friend, could be your coworker, who's ever on your team. So like in my collective, we have this nonprofit and we're all dreaming the same dreams, having similar visions. And then that's one way to help manifest it onto the physical plane. And then another practical thing would be to write down the ones that are feeling important. And you don't have to write them down, but you could say them to somebody if you think that it's something that's going to help create your future. Then you could put it out there with the vibrations. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's pretty much all I want to say on the topic for now. But I think future, conversations about dreams are needed, and we have to educate the children, because I didn't start learning about dreams till like really not that long ago. So, what would it be like if we could have that sustainability, maintain this passing on of wisdom, support answers to questions? Like, kids might be scared, like they don't know. They may not, their parents may not have been conditioned to teach them the proper way. Like here we are, like a lot of us coming into the first generation. But we have to find spaces, and that's really what my mission is to try to educate the community, educate people, the kids.
Absolutely. I look forward to the future where, in the same way in our education system, how we have classes for math and science and history, we would have one for dreams. I think that would be beautiful if we created a society where people were encouraged to do that. And I can imagine societies on other planets or galaxies or whatever that already exist that do that, that have this spiritual foundation to their way of culture. And it's very potent thing. So I feel that, again, us here having these discussions, we're the vanguard for being able to bring these discussions with us into the future. It's up to us to be able to, help be the leaders for the youth of today, quite literally. So, we don't have to wait. We're already doing it. So that's awesome. Sweet. Shakti, thank you as always. And it's a beautiful vision you have of the ashram. I look forward to being able to visit someday. So we'll party down. Sweet.
Cool beans.
All right. Thank you.
Guys.
All right. I wanted to be able to pass the talk and stick around some more. I think Josh had his hand up. He wanted to say something. I know Danny still wants to get into some discussion. And we do have David who came back, and I want to be able to pass it to him because he had to drop out and now he's back. So David, we were still going around with the idea of being able to share stories. And so if you wanted to jump in on that, you're more than welcome.
Yeah,
and
my apologies.
Not a problem, dude. You set off the fire alarm on purpose. I forgive
totally.
you. It's obviously what happened.
Yeah, totally. A building full of 3,000 people. It's my fault.
Just happens. Yeah. Well, dude, I was going to say stories as well as any intentions related to your own dream practice and practical tips. Any of those three things are totally awesome, or whatever else you would like to bring. Go for it, dude.
Well, I do apologize first and foremost if I fail to follow the specific parameters. I am a little bit of a rebel when it comes to just expressing myself. You know what I mean?
I want you to rebel there.
I believe reality itself is a dream, first and foremost. Not in the literal sense of which you wake up and you're in the next body. Maybe that'd be cool. If you die, you just wake up in the next place. If that's the case, cool. I believe that this experience that we're currently experiencing is a configuration. You know what I mean? And what I mean by this is that, this. Time itself operates differently in every dimension. As you get into the higher dimensions, time itself no longer becomes a constraint. It is much like a something that could now be traversed in a sense. And studying quantum physics from the sense that I get from present and future, it's more, and in the higher dimensions, it's constantly present. The present in the now is the one that always was and always has been and always will be. It's just the moment that's being expressed in different variations in every dimension. That's how I feel. And within this third dimension, you have a constraint within time. So how this applies to dreams, I think when we're dreaming, we go into different layers. The surface layer is the more like the conscious layer, the subconscious layer, and what have you. But then you get deeper. You get into this space where it's almost as if you know that you were inhabiting an entire situation with people, and you went through a journey almost, and you know something went down. When you wake up, you get that feeling that something big went down. I don't know what methods can be used to further amplify the experience so that you could actually vividly remember to the highest degree. I don't know what the methods are. Meditation, perhaps, more yoga, mantras, whatever it may be. But I think what we're doing right now, what I'm witnessing right now, just the fact that I'm having this conversation with you guys across the nexus, the digital nexus that is the internet, I feel as though the fact that you guys are even experiencing what you're experiencing is a sign that humanity is coming back to a point of which it once, a point in consciousness in which we once reached in our golden age, in the ancient times that people have been speaking about, the lost civilization, what have you. The awakening that's happening now is a resurgence. It's a reemergence, and these dreams that you're experiencing, perhaps we're all accessing a nexus, if you will, of consciousness. Like we're accessing right now in this waking state, whatever the state this is one variation of that experience. Yes. And it like what was like when I tuned in when I came back, I heard someone saying something about how no one's teaching our children about this, and it's true. Like our society ridicules dreams. We use dreams to insult people. Like, oh, you're a dreamer. That means they use it as a form of a derogatory label. So there isn't any shamans to guide us, like how our ancient ancestors had, like the teachers, the elders who went into the experience. There are shamans in the world, yes, but like we ourselves, I don't have a shaman in my neighborhood I could just go to and tell them my dream and try to get into the depths of what just occurred. You know what I mean? Like we're lucky if we have someone like that, and I'm lucky to even talk to you guys about this concept, because like obviously try talking to the average Joe about this and they'll look at you like you're crazy, and you'll feel crazy just talking about it. Yeah, it's important to talk about this, because this is part of our experience as not only a human being, but a conscious, the fact that all life is consciousness, because TNT is associated with our dream states. So yeah, I don't know where to go with that.
Well, dude, I'll definitely tag team with you on those concepts, because those are like right up my cosmic alley, and something we do talk about a lot within Dream Class, like the idea of yeah, you hit upon some key things like understanding, because that was a huge paradigm shift for me. Once it really clicked, where I was just like, wait a second, this physical reality is just like the dream reality. Like it's actually, and I talk about this, and basically the logical way of being able to understand this is to think of the dream reality as the place closer to where we come from, meaning that the physical dimension crystallized out of the dream dimension, and that dream dimension probably crystallized out of a higher dimension. And the more higher you get, the cloudier and more nebulous things become. And the more here you get, the more physical and also time oriented in a different way. Like the time crystallizes too. It's not that time stops existing on other dimensions. It just, it becomes different. It crystallizes more as we're here. And I love that visual of thinking about time as being, you know, similar to an XYZ axis that you can traverse, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go into the, be right back, go into the future, you know, kind of thing. But again, understanding that, and I've talked about this in different ways, but it's fascinating, and I haven't talked to you about it, of thinking of like dreams as like a form of advanced spiritual technology, as a kind of a framework that I've put on it, where it's it's like, okay, let's kind of jump back to the idea and assume that humans aren't just this thing that's spontaneously just happened. Let's say that we're intentionally shaped, not even necessarily by a god, but almost like within ourselves. And with this, dreams actually serve, again, a purpose. Like they serve as a place for us to literally return to each night as soul. You can almost think about, isn't it weird how we're just like, be like, oh man, I'm getting tired. Like I'm getting tired. Like, have you ever noticed that it takes physical energy to exist in this physical reality? And we literally,
as if we're not supposed to be here.
well, it's like, it's because it decays. It's like anything that lives here dies, but it also lives at the same time, right? You can't live without dying. It takes energy. So, and I'll pass it back to you in a second. It's interesting to think about how when we go to sleep at night, what if we were to change our language, change our thought, where it's like, oh, sweet, I'm going to sleep. That means I'm bringing like my conscious awareness of my soul like into the astral realms to be able to rest again, to be able to re-plug in, to re-juice myself up. And it's not to say, and this is the key part, right? It's not to say that we're only in the dream space when we're dreaming. No, the fact is like we're always there, even when we're awake. And it's just when we dream, we kind of like tap into the awareness that we're there. So it's like the parallel reality thing where it's like we are existing in those places simultaneously in multiple dimensions and stuff. But yeah, like again, getting into the idea that the dreams are like a shared nexus point is such a powerful idea. And again, this is what we were talking about before with Shakti. Like this is why shared dreams is a possibility. It's not that crazy to draw the parallels between how we use the internet and how dreams have the potential to be utilized. And again, that's from that perspective, it's like, holy crap, like are dreams like a technology that we are still learning how to use? Like, is there an interface that we can actually learn how to operate? Can it be hacked? And not even hacked, but more so just, can it be used? Like, where there's nothing that we're doing within dreams where we're hacking it as if it's like outside of the norm. Like, no, we're just like pressing the buttons that are already there that most of us haven't even become aware of. So, yeah, but anyways, if anybody else, or if you want to jump in on that, go ahead, David. But again, I think just being able to, again, the whole context of us doing this broadcast, for one thing, is simply to be able to practice talking about these concepts. Because literally by us having this conversation, this is consciousness doing what it can to help wake itself up. And as we talk about it, we're like, oh, I remember, like it's starting to make sense. Like I'm putting words to something that can sometimes be very hard to describe. So that's why we need to practice talking about this, so that as we grow, we'll be able to, again, pass on this knowledge to other people and to be able to invite them to be able to remember themselves. But go ahead, dude, just pass the talking stick back to you, and then we'll pass it around as well.
I feel as though, just to expand off that, I'm not trying to hog the camera time right here. I feel as though we were planted across the earth, like us individuals, specific conscious beings, if you will. This is all metaphorically speaking. This is not literal. Don't take this literally. We were planted across the earth to spread our light and our awareness. And like that light will ignite other light, like other star seeds, if you will, that will like radiate, that will shine, and they will like shine, and they will give the energy for the seeds around them to sprout and what have you. And I feel like what I'm seeing right now is that in effect, you know what I mean? Like we're all like, I feel as though like each one of us has went through some like serious like resistance as we grew up in the society, because the society has so much like indoctrination that has brainwashed people to the point where like they look at us as if we're the ones who are like fucked in the head, but like in fact it's the other way around, right? If you actually take in the situation of the nature of reality. So like I feel like it was meant to be the way it was, just so that we would learn, we would grow strong, and we would get we would gain fortitude and resilience, and it would shape us as characters, as the people that we are, you know what I mean? Like it's through hardship that the pressure that molds the diamond, as they say, right? And the thing is, like, I don't know if there's like a plan, like, and for reality, I don't know if it's all just like random free choice or what have you, but like what I do know is that I seen a shift in consciousness, and that this shift cannot be like, like in the 60s, it got subdued. Like it got subdued. The very same people who were talking about the same stuff we're talking about now in the 60s, they became exactly what they were protesting against. Like, not all of them, but a good amount of them became the same CEOs that they were protesting against. So like, it's so key that none of us lose sight on this. None of us like give into the negativity or the self-doubt, which I think are tools used against us. So like, I love you all, and like, this is awesome. That's all I gotta say.
Awesome, dude. Yes, totally echoing that. Again, you know, what you talk there, like that's within the context of the Paradigm Shift Central project. That's essentially like the story of the Light Guardians. Again, you know, like that's the vernacular that we use. And you're right. Like, it's beautiful to think about the idea that, imagine if we all lived in the same town or the same city, that would be a waste, right? Like, we need to be spread out. We need, our beacons need to be, you know, it's kind of like that scene in Lord of the Rings where they like light a beacon and then lights another beacon and the message gets across the world. Like, that's essentially us, right? All of these beacons are being seen and heard and lighting more beacons along the way. Like, it's a very literal light guardian, pillar of light type scenario. It's symbolic, but it's symbolic because it's so real. But yeah, man, dude, appreciate you being here. Let's keep passing and talking. Stick around. I know Danny has some stuff he wanted to say, so I'm gonna pass it to him. And yeah, at this point, you know, again, let's just practice talking about some of those really out there concepts related to dreams and try and get a better framework on it. So because that's a key way to being able to, you know, tap into the reasons and motivations to want to practice more dream recall and focus on it to begin with. Danny, passing it over to you, dude. When you're ready, go right ahead, man.
Okay. Yeah, it was funny that you said that, because I was just going to say that about how I view light workers and star seeds as being like these beacons of light. Kind of like, we wouldn't be able to like congregate and just like form our own community. Could you imagine how like what the outside world would turn into? So it's like we're all separate, and like there is absolutely no awakened people near me, and I've come to realize that it's because, you know, we're all here to like kind of ground this frequency and kind of like raise that vibration, you know. But so getting back on track, so yeah, like what I was gonna say earlier, I was saying like, what if like I've had some dreams before, like in the past, and what if like some dreams are like actually like sometimes they turn out to be like these prophetic dreams or like these premonitions, and that's what I think deja vu can be. Because sometimes like you'll be going about your business and then you get this like strong urge that like this has all happened before, and it was like, what if it was because you had dreamt all of this in the past, you know? And so that was an interesting like kind of concept I wanted to share, and maybe get your guys' perspective on.
Totally. Well, isn't that, there's the term for that where it's like deja revu, where it's like to have the feeling of something that felt like it was in a dream. I think that actually is like the term for that.
Really?
Yeah, like deja revu or something like that. It's kind of spelt funny, opposed to deja vu, because like deja vu is like a French word to begin with. So if I'm not mistaken.
Deja revu.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, it's like the feeling that this happened in a dream when it happens. But absolutely, you know, like, and again, I'll just put the idea out there so that we can play with it. Are we literally time traveling when we dream? You know, like, are we time travelers every night when we go to dream? Or do we have the potential to be, right? So, but yeah.
Also,
go ahead, dude. Yeah.
So what if like so like what you guys were saying earlier, what if this is the dream, and when we go to sleep at night, that is what's closer to reality, that's what's actually real? And I was actually thinking about that concept for a while, and not too long ago I had this dream, and I feel like my higher self was actually trying to show me something, because a lot of the time when I project, I usually materialize in my childhood home, the home I grew up in. And so I dream about this place all the time. And in this particular dream, I was on this game show, and like I was being quizzed, and like I was like competing against somebody. And when I had woken up from that dream, I was just in tears, because reflecting on it, I get the sense that my higher self was trying to show me that we're all just being tested, and this is all just a big test, and we're all being evaluated based on our actions and our choices and the karma we accumulate and everything. And like sometimes in our dream state, like they're trying to help, or these higher aspects of ourselves are trying to like give us little how do I say it? Like little Scooby snacks, you know?
Yeah.
I feel that.
Pointing us in the direction, showing us things. Look at this. Do this. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like I had a dream once. I walked into a metaphysical store and I bought carnelian stone, and this was before I even had like any idea what it was. And like I had went out like a few days later and went out and like found the same exact stone I saw in my dream. And then I realized later that I had a huge like sacral blockage, and like I feel like that was another like kind of like help from above, you know.
Interesting.
So I do have one interesting dream experience to share.
Go for it.
So in this dream, this was extremely lucid. Like in this dream, I had actually was able to feel everything, like sense everything, see everything, and like actually feel everything. And so I'm walking through this kind of like this grassy field. There's really tall grass, like taller than I am. So I'm like going through this grass, and like I had the sense that this wasn't really Earth-like. The atmosphere is kind of different. I'm not sure how to describe it, but like I knew this wasn't Earth. So I'm going through this grass, and I had this really like unsettling feeling that I was not supposed to be here. So I'm going through this grass, and then the path kind of opens up, and I'm looking around, and then I look down, and I see this carcass, and it's a dead body. And so I get a closer look at it, and it's like this blue-skinned humanoid. And I was like, whoa. And like in that moment, that's when I became lucid, because I was like, whoa. Like, and then all of a sudden I felt something grab me, and there was this presence that grabbed me, and it like suspended me into the air. So and I remember I was looking face to face at another one of these blue-skinned beings, and I remember looking at it in its eyes, and at this moment I'm freaking out. I'm asking Archangel Michael to help me, and I remembered in that moment, I'm like, oh, whenever you see a negative entity, you're supposed to tell them you love them and they'll go away. So I'm like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then he just kind of looks at me, and he didn't speak, but he just looks at me, and then he shakes his head, and he was like shaking his head in disapproval. And I realized in that moment, I was like, wait, this guy doesn't want to hurt me. And it seems like he was frustrated that I was afraid of him. And then I woke up, and that was it.
Wow.
I think he was probably trying to tell you something, but the experience was just too much.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, that's, going back to what we were talking about earlier, the idea of like contact happening in dreams, like listening to that and literally just being like able to see it as, like straight up something that happened and stuff like that. Like it's fascinating. Because again, it's literally just like, hey guys, like I went to another planet last night and talked to an alien. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I feel like,
and you can kind of tell how that's just like a taste, right? Like what would happen if you were able to like return there and meet this same character and have a discussion and develop a relationship, right? Like, is that possible? Like, is that what we're capable of opening up into? Kind of like having this recurring relationship with dream characters that, or at least not even dream characters, but people or entities or intelligences that we meet recurringly within a dream. But yeah, dude, that's fascinating, man.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm thinking about it now. I think like there was some sort of war going on, and like I had just like projected here, and I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And he's like, "Whoa, what's this guy doing? You're not supposed to do here." Like, you're right. And I was like, "Oh, what?"
Dude, next level, man. Yeah. Oh man. Like, and we've talked about that before in other broadcasts with people talking about like literally going to other planets while dreaming, and if anybody has, take note of those experiences if you've experienced them before. But people talk about that, they'll literally just be like, yeah, like I saw a futuristic city on another planet. So again, we either are just like, wow, that was a fascinating dream, or we're like, wow, that is legit quantum information that they are downloading into themselves based on an actual reality that could exist and does exist, quite possibly. Again, like that's the thing with dreams, there's always there needs to be discernment, but at the same time, like when we kind of open up to the impossible, things become very, very fascinating, or what we once thought was impossible. But yeah, I was there's something else I was going to say. Danny, was there anything else you wanted to say right now while I remember?
Oh, touching on what you just said, I think
Yeah.
that like once you start changing your belief systems and your ideologies around what you
Mm-hmm.
believe is possible,
Mm-hmm.
the more
Mm-hmm.
opens up and the more
Yeah.
your reality shifts and changes,
Yeah,
and the more your
exactly.
paradigm changes, you know?
Yeah.
Because like,
Sorry, go ahead.
because if you don't, like for example, I said this before once in a video, if you don't believe in leprechauns and unicorns, you're never going to experience those in your reality. But let's say you do believe in them and you have the belief system that they do exist, maybe they will present themselves to you, you know?
Yeah, dude, like it's something that I think is a very powerful phrase. You know, people often say like, "Oh, I'll see it when I believe it," but I think reality works the other way around. When you believe it, and then you'll see it. So again, yeah, just by us having these conversations, if we start opening up to the idea that, you know, maybe I can meet aliens in my dreams, maybe I can go to other planets and stuff like that, then the universe will start being like, okay, good, they qualify, they meet the requirements to be able to receive this experience. And again, you know, what I was going to say earlier, I'll just say this, and we'll keep passing around, and anybody who wants to jump in at this point, I feel like David, we still got more to talk about and everything, but what I was going to say real quick was, you know, this idea of thinking, I kind of said this before, that the dream space is more real than this space. I've kind of said it in that way, but I need to clarify, because what I mean by that, it's not to say that like, oh, this reality is less real and the dream space is more real. That's not so much what I'm saying. What I'm particularly saying, to be specific, and I'm clarifying this, is more so that this reality, this waking reality that we're in right now, has more illusion, and the dream reality has slightly less illusion. And by illusion, I basically mean filters, in a sense. And so again, it's like this reality and the dream reality, they're still real. And this is something I've talked about before that I'll just dial home because I think it's important. For me, what makes something real is if it can be experienced. If it can be experienced, if it can have an influence on us emotionally, if it can be observed by the soul, then that makes it real, because the soul can learn from any experience regardless of what dimension it is. And so again, it's kind of like this idea though that, you know, if we were in those higher dimensional spaces and if we were to see reality in all of its unfiltered glory, it would be like so much. It would be like it would like fry our little human brains or something like that, right? Like we need a different hardware in order to be able to actually see reality for what it is. Not to say that we can't see beyond the illusions, because again, this is where you get into the idea of, you know, when like the filter's pulled back, when the third eye's open, when you're on psychedelics or when you're in a lucid dream, oh, you can see it like hardcore, and it is there, and it can be observed. The fact that this reality is indeed an illusion. But again, illusion doesn't mean it's not real. It just means the way that we're seeing it isn't actually the truth of what it actually is. It means it's looking a certain way, but then if you were to look behind the curtains, you would see like what's actually happening, and then we just see the shadows of that, you know. So it's like the allegory in the cave thing. We're not seeing the flame, we're actually seeing the shadows. And if we were to look at the flame, we'd be like, oh my god, and then it turns out that that flame is actually a shadow of like a fifth dimensional flame, and we're just like, what the fuck does that even mean? So but anyways,
well, considering how like
ahead.
atoms are like 99% empty space,
right?
Like just that alone, like what like the implications are so profound in that.
As we're just standing here trying to put our finger through our hand, what
Yeah.
man, what? But again,
macro.
It's a slight shift in vibration, right? Like that's what we've come to understand. It's only in this physical dimension that things are solid, because that's one of the states of the dream experience that people become. And it's worth noting, because again, this is some of the very important practical understandings of the difference between the physical dimension, the one that we're in, and the dream dimension. Key elements are the fact that the physicality of it isn't the same. That's why objects can pass through each other. You know, you can create the illusion of physicality in an instance within the dream, but it's not consistent. And that's why like some of the dream, you know, the dream recall method, or sorry, the lucidity checks, the like reality checks, would be something like stretching matter. You know, you could like stretch your fingers and stretch your arms, or, you know, things just don't stay in the same shape as long as, you know, as consistently. But yeah, so again, it's like within the dream space, again, it's much more obvious that that 99% empty space is actually normal, and it's only in here that we have like this slight vibration where it's like, oh, they're solid, but what man, it's trippy. Anyways, whew, feeling my like brain getting all fuzzy and stuff. Or like I can feel like the electricity in my brain lighting up just by talking about this stuff. It's just like trying to compute. Like, anyways, it's fun to think about higher dimensional realms. Danny, go ahead, and then we'll pass it over to David and anybody else jump in anytime. 1 second, just Google Hangouts taking a second. Okay, there you go.
Or you glitched it.
Yeah, you're good.
Out.
Go for it.
So like in the dream space, with every thought you have, everything's manifested almost instantaneously. And I feel like manifestation works the same way here, except it's much, 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 much slower.
Yes. I agree that is also a very key noticeable distinguishers. Yeah, like that those couple things, like time, manifestation, and physical reality, illusions of physical reality, are like the three things to take note of about like what makes the dream space different from this space. Because again, that idea that you just mentioned, the idea of understanding that if you think of something in a dream, it manifests. Lucid dreaming is an experience where this can be felt. You know, you think about an apple, it appears. You think about shooting fire out of your hands. You think about going to the pyramids, it happens. But again, once you understand that, like, hey, if that can happen in the dream, is that happening in this dimension too? And then you're just like, oh, plot twist, it actually is. Because most people haven't been taught this. They haven't been taught to think like this. They haven't been taught to think that our thoughts go beyond our physical, immediate reality. We don't understand that if we think about something, it will actually like begin to show up in our reality. We aren't taught this, but we can learn this, and dreams teach us this. So yeah, the more we wake up in our dreams, the more we study dreams, the more it helps us become better dreamers within this dream. Is again a common catchphrase that we have here at Paradigm Shift Dream Class. But anyways, Danny, I just wanted to mention, and I wanted to be able to invite, there's a person in the chat, I think her name is Lacey or something, but she said she had a crazy sync with you talking about your alien dream. She says, whoa, what? Crazy ass sync with Danny's dream. And she says, I had a similar dream. I just mean I have very similar dreams. So I'm not sure if Lacey is meaning that she had a dream like this recently, or if she's just talking about a dream in general. But yeah, we've shared some of her stories on past dream classes. And yeah, she's had some very, very metaphysically beautiful dreams of talking with aliens and going through portals and going to other parts of the galaxy and so forth and so on. But nice sync there, so it's happening. But yeah, Danny, is there anything else you want to throw into the circle at this point? Just chuck it in there, man. And
let me think. I had something, but I think it might be gone.
Get it, Danny. It'll come back. Don't try to get it, and it will come back. It's like a butterfly,
brain blast.
Right? Okay. David, Shakti, Josu, Josh, anybody else want to jump in? Feel free.
Sure.
David, go for it, man. Yeah.
There are times when I feel as though I am looking at life through another person's perspective or another person's eyes during dreams. It's almost as if I switch off my human avatar to go off accessing another person's avatar to almost guide them through their experiences. And almost feel like this whole feeling of having an intuition could have something to do with just not necessarily one person linking up with your consciousness, but more so just, again, the whole idea of that nexus. Like, it's so hard for me to talk about dreams and all this without mentioning this reality that we're experiencing, because it's all interrelated. I cannot compartmentalize anything without speaking about something else. But I do feel like we are quantumly entangled, and through the dreams, possibly we could actually change the blueprint of reality.
Just give me a second here, folks.
We are there we go. Imprisoned, social constructs being one of them. But consciousness, I feel as though like creating like a human, forcing the human race to all be behaving in one type of way and accessing one type of consciousness, which is in this society materialism. I feel like it's all about materialism. Having them all access that dream creates the solidity of that reality, makes it more and more tangibly real.
Yeah.
The more and more people who no longer associate with that construct, we begin reprogramming reality, because we are now accessing the oneness, if you will, and by doing so, we'll be able to bring that back and apply it to the very foundation of human society. I mean, you have each human being essentially evolving, transcending, taking evolution into their own hands through their own experiences within the conscious realm. When we're speaking about higher dimensions, we're speaking about dimensions that are within. We're speaking about the inner dimensions, because it is through the fractal nature of reality of which we can find the source of which our consciousness emanates from. And as you dive into the fabric of reality, I feel as though you are diving into that same fabric of which we are accessing through the dream state. I'm all over the place. Sorry.
That's good, man. We're just connecting all the webs here, so I can see it. We're painting a beautiful tapestry right now. So, but you're right though. Like, it's just like everything, you know, in these discussions, like it's about connecting the dots. It's about being able to, you know, try to wrap our little minds around such big ideas, which I think we can do. Like, I honestly don't like, not to say we'll entirely be able to figure out dreams, but we'll be able to figure them out within a certain degree, much more than, again, the story that we've been fed by culture and everything. But that's a powerful idea, of the idea of like multiple people manifesting this reality simultaneously, and many of them aren't aware of it. And so it's just like, I think it's just beautiful to try and imagine societies in other shapes and forms where people are consciously awake and consciously aware. Again, for them, imagine like another alien species. For them, they would probably see their day-to-day life as being very dream-like, you know, where within their dreams, they're just like lucid and they're manifesting things. And then within their waking life as a team, they're just like, oh, like, let's build a futuristic super city. All right, let's start envisioning it. Let's start like crystallizing it. And they literally do it. It takes time. Like, that's the only thing anything ever takes. The only thing it ever takes to create something is time. Because essentially time is just the investment required to move atoms, to build things, to change structure. It's all just time. So it's the ingredient of time that brings it into form. But again, you know, it's crazy when you think about the fact that our mind is literally capable of standing there in an open field and imagining like a futuristic city coming out of the ground, seeing it in our imagination, feeling it in our heart, and being like, let's start, let's do this. And then, you know, like 10 years later, it's complete and it's there. It's like you stand back and you're just like, holy shit, like, was that just a lucid dream? Is that just what happened? Because that's what it felt like. There's not that much different between me thinking, hey, let's make a city grow up out of the ground, and it literally happening within this physical reality. The only difference was time. Like, that's the only thing that was different. So again, just trying to understand more about dreams by imagining futuristic cultures and how they might associate dreams. And again, I think the other powerful idea that we can talk about is the understanding that everything that happens in this physical reality begins in the higher dimensional planes, in the higher dimensional etheric realms. Everything that happens to us, like literally our next breath, begins in the higher dimensional realms, and then we show up for it and we're like, so it's like these higher dimensional ideas are trying to be able to make their way into this world, but we get to pick and choose which ones we want to bring into this world, and even which ones we don't want to bring into this world. Because, you know, it's trippy to think that, you know, does fear and prejudice begin in a higher dimensional plane? In a sense, it does, but only as part of a bigger narrative to be able to teach us about how harmony and balance and compassion is the other side of that story. So it only comes, you know, fear, prejudice, and racism and all of those things only come into this reality so long as we choose to bring them in. And, you know, and that's kind of what happens. We'll bring them in, and then eventually our soul will be like, I'm getting tired of this. Like, this is the same story. I want to change it up. And then we're like, oh, okay, let's start bringing in something else, and we start replacing it, and we start bringing in, you know, love and compassion and harmony and things like that. So it's like, what are you bringing into this physical reality from those higher dimensional states. And as artists, especially within this project, like that's something that is very practical. So especially, you know, David and other people here who do video editing, you can understand that, you know, as you're editing a video, there's kind of two ways to approach it. One, where you're like literally seeing it before you edit it, and two, where you're kind of like showing up for the editing process to happen by itself, and you almost become a conduit where you're just like, okay, I know that this technology has a voice in itself, and if I just show up at the computer with intention and start clicking buttons, even if I like, you know, it's kind of experimental, but as long as I'm moving forward, flash forward like a couple days and holy crap, there's something in front of me, and you're just like, did I make that? Like did that just happen? But again, it's like it comes from higher dimensional realms and it comes through us. So again, we as dreamers have the choice to step into our potential as literally ambassadors for higher conscious ideas. And when we're on that vibration, that wavelength, that motivation, that purpose of being able to bring things in with the intention to help shift consciousness, in the same way the consciousness can bring ideas into our dreams, it can come through in our waking state as well. And again, we become that bridge between like the dream realm and this realm, and we start merging the realities. And so again, it's you can see that shift. And I know we were talking about this earlier, where 10 years ago, so many people were just thinking from 3D orientation. They weren't thinking about the idea of like manifesting from the future backwards. They were thinking from the future forward. Whereas once you get to that 5D, you can kind of understand, oh, that city I want to build out of the ground, it already exists. All we have to do is to be able to align with the reality in which it has been created. And once you place yourself in that feeling, then the work between there and then kind of just happens and it moves through you. It's like an energy, and it's an all-win is kind of the term that's commonly used, and it moves through us. But anyways, yeah, just a couple things that I want to be able to put out there. If anybody else wants to jump in, please feel free to do so at any point, talking about dreams and all that trippy stuff.
Well, like you were mentioning molding, what you were saying right there, man, you were kind of like, without even realizing, you were referencing Robert Anton Wilson and John Anthony West, because these guys are talking about taking a concept within the thought realm and manifesting it into the physical realm, right? And that process right there is, you know, like, it's just too much to explain, but like you guys are nailing it, man. Like I'm taken back right now by this.
Because again, right, like the thought realm, the imagination realm, the dream realm, are they the same? Like is it more or less the same in a sense? Like I think the data that is in one stretches across all of them. So it's like at any, you know, again, it's kind of like this idea that our brains are like radar dishes, or they have like a computer jack up into like a central cloud network. And so it's like we have that data, we can access it, we can do it in our dreams, we can do it in our imagination. And this is why we need to practice flexing our imagination. As we practice flexing our imagination, we get better at bringing in some of the more potent ideas. Like, you know, even David Lynch kind of talks about this idea of, you know, like if you read a book with a golf ball size consciousness, you will have a golf ball size awareness. If you read a book with a beach ball size consciousness, you'll have a beach ball size awareness. So it's like that. What does it mean to be able to expand our consciousness? And to be able to expand our consciousness almost means to be able to increase the hertz, or again, the frequency of data, to be able to understand more complex ideas, create more complex projects, manifest more complex dreams. And so again, you know, someone with like a golf ball size consciousness, like they might just be very uninspired or unmotivated to be able to engage with reality in such a way. Whereas like people who are kind of waking up, and which everyone can, like even with the golf ball, you can grow from there. You eventually wake up and you're just like, holy crap, every single day for me is a lucid dream, has the potential for me to kind of like see it as a lucid dream. So it's like, how can I, again, as you practice your dreams, you move into this higher place of like super gratitude, and lucid living is kind of the way that dreams is what dreams can help move you towards, which again I feel is a very powerful idea, because overall the objective is, you know, awareness, consciousness, mindfulness, in both states of the dreams. And so again, just dreams are a catalyst for us to be able to understand more about who we are, our potential, not unsolved, but explore the mysteries and create along the way. But yeah.
Well, I think we'll reach a breakthrough once the day comes where the first two people interact with each other in a dream state and confirm it in the waking reality that they both were accessing that same dream and experiencing the same thing. I think that will be one of the
in like a
breakthroughs that will really get people
mainstream way, in like a mainstream breakthrough kind of way.
Say again?
Like in a way that would be almost recognized by mainstream, you mean?
Right, like there's got to be
scientifically
some kind of
proven.
like no, I'm not trying to sound like a pompous person here, but like there's got to be some kind of way to attract these scientists to bring this to like a serious like analyzation, because they literally don't even take it seriously. They won't even engage in the conversation. So like in order for this to reach the masses in a way that will be effective to the application to our societies and human development, I think we need to I don't know what's it going to take for us to actually get that to happen. There needs to be a way for us to intentionally work towards communicating with one another through the dream state and actually confirming that in some way that could be like tested or something. Like,
well, we're doing it right now, man. Like we're doing it here as a community. Like we have the opportunity to be able to set the intention and document it as a team. For starters, right? Like, and I think that's where it does happen. It does happen in individual communities, and then in the future maybe we get more reputable recognition or something like that. But again, like that's the thing with dreams. Like unless you can have a camera inside your dream, it's all hearsay, and it takes an incredible amount of faith and trust. And I think that's why the scientific community is so scared of it, because they can't measure it. And people would lose their jobs if they got too deep into the dream theory and stuff, because I think it gets to a point where it drastically questions the nature of reality. You can't look into dreams without it totally like unhinging the current scientific paradigm. So that's why I think, again, like dreams from like the perspective of something that's trying to keep people in control, if we're trying to call it that, is almost scared of the idea of dreams, because it knew if a culture was dreaming, a culture would awaken, and a culture would become sovereign, and they would awaken to their potential. So you keep the dreams away from them, and that's like it's a control mechanism, the same way they control us with television and media, or television and food and everything like that. But they're constantly just keeping us fascinated with something else to keep us away from our awareness of who we are. So once we turn our attention away from the fascinations, away from the just like the distraction of media, bad media, not like there's good media and bad media, valuable, healthy media and not so healthy media. But yeah, it's obvious just how powerful dreams can be, and why it is within our birthright to be able to reclaim that power that dreams have the potential to give us. Because like honestly, I think if you're like here to help shift the planet, and if you're here to really make a difference in this world, and dreams are not something that you're spending time in, not to say you have to do it all the time, but if you're not investigating it at least in chapters of your journey, I think you're not going to be able to access a higher potential, so to speak. And I'm not trying to say it's impossible to help change the world for people who don't study dreams, but I'm saying it's just it's essential that in order for us to reach our higher potential as cosmic citizens, the dream practice is a part of it. And again, and it opens up to this reality where you're just like, okay, I'm doing physical things during the day and I'm creating awesome things, and then in the dream space I'm literally having vivid experiences of me like doing amazing things as well, and having relationships. And what happens if every night, when we go to sleep, like imagine this in the future where instead of it just being random, where we actually have intention to be able to control our dreams, where it's like, okay guys, I'm going to sleep tonight, I'm going to go like up to the star base by Alpha Centauri and talk to the council, and I'll let you know what they say, or something like that, right? Like you're literally going somewhere and you're doing something in your dreams. It's not like you're just, hey, I wonder what happens, but you're actually accomplishing tasks and chores that are running parallel to this dimension or something like that. Like it's crazy. It's fascinating. And again, it just blows my mind that it doesn't blow my mind that this is stuff that we weren't taught in school. Because again, I think it's like so fringe, it's so out there, but it's incredibly important. And that's why, again, we're having these conversations here. But anyways, Anybody else? Grab the talking stick. Dreams. Let's focus in on some practical tips if we want to share those, and we'll get close to wrapping it up, and then we'll do a meditation, and we'll try to end the broadcast around 1 a.m. so in less than 25 minutes. So passing the talking stick around. Any other dream theories that you want to practice communicating? Now is the time, and as well as any practical tips and any dream stories if you still got some to share. Anybody wants to jump in? And I'm thinking, I don't think Shakti is still here. Josu, did you want to say something? Did Josh want to say something? Laura wants to say something. All right, Laura, let's pass it over to Laura. And other Josh, if you wanted to say something as well, we can pass it over to you in a minute. Go ahead, Laura. Can you just say something? You can hear us okay?
I can hear fine.
Okay, go ahead, Laura.
I think it helps you to connect to source and your spirit when you're in that state of disconnection. That's how it works for me anyway.
Totally.
Did we die or what?
Totally. I think. Sorry. Go ahead. Is there more you want to share?
Oh, I just wanted to say that it helps with the connection to the spirit for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Like, and that's, again, I think the benefit of paying attention to our dreams is because it helps us connect with our spirituality, with our remembrance that we are spiritual beings. And it's obvious that when people aren't connected with their dreams, they become much more attached to this physical reality, and they kind of like fall into the Maya of it. They fall into the illusion of it. So yeah,
and people they only work with mind and body, and they neglect the spirit.
It's so powerful. And again, like, there's still so much more to talk about within dreams, but one thing that comes to mind is the idea of like the healing that can take place in dreams as well. And again, even if we're not fully remembering our dreams, it doesn't mean that things aren't happening. We have to literally assume that every night when we dream, our souls are keeping us very busy, are actually doing a lot. Because I mean, even for myself, I said earlier, my dream recall isn't the best, but I do know that I am dreaming a lot. Like, I do have recall there, but it's just like, it's not there long. But I kind of got what we were talking about earlier, that feeling when you wake up from your dream and you're just like, whoa, like something important happened. Like, that happens with me. I know it's weird. Like, I can remember my dreams, but I can't remember my dreams at the same time, if that makes sense. Go ahead, Laura. Yeah, sorry, Laura, go ahead. If you want to jump in there.
I think that's what I was going to say there.
Okay. Does Josh, did you want to jump in with anything?
Yeah. No.
Sorry, Josh.
I'm okay.
You're good?
I'm okay for now. I'm having some fun left.
Cool, man. Yeah, thank you for being here and listening and holding space. Cool. Okay, let's Laura, was there anything else you wanted to say? And we'll pass the talking stick around.
No, that's all.
That's good for now?
I'm enjoying the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. And and thank you to everyone for being here. I know a lot of people, they just really just like to like sit back and enjoy listening to people talk about dreams, because they're just like, wow, this is fascinating. This is just like that movie Inception, but real. So something like that. One thing I was going to mention real quick, talking about movies, for those of you who haven't seen the movie Vanilla Sky, recommend checking it out. And it's really interesting because this was one of those movies that I didn't watch for the longest time. I just wasn't really attracted to it, and it wasn't until later that I actually found out what it was about, and I was like, wait a second, now I want to watch it. And I'm going to spoil it kind of for you, but you'll actually be able to understand why it's worth watching. I wouldn't be able to tell you this part without it being relevant to Dream Class. But anyways, the story with Vanilla Sky, which is a story of Tom Cruise, it's a story of Tom Cruise. Yeah, it's a documentary about Tom Cruise, no, more or less. But it's Tom Cruise as Tom Cruise, and he's like this like really like hot shot person who's like really successful and stuff like that. And then he gets into a car accident and he messes up his face. That's what it looks like. That's what the movie looks like. What it's actually about, and again, this is kind of revealed by the end, is that it turns out that Tom Cruise's character has actually like been in a dream throughout the movie, or at least up to a certain point in the movie. And so going back and watching it, if you understand that everything happening within the movie can be thought of as like what's happening in a dream, it becomes fascinating because you start seeing other characters as like reflections of Tom Cruise's character, like his insecurities, his egos, his desires, and they start popping up through other characters, and everything's kind of happening for him, and it gets like really trippy. It kind of gets to a point in the movie where, if anybody's ever seen like Dark City or even like The Matrix, when he becomes like, there's a part where he becomes like aware that he's in a dream and he like wakes up and things start becoming lucid. It gets like super interesting. So I haven't really spoiled much of it, just giving you the general idea. And it's like he's like in the future and he's like dreaming he's in the past because he's cryogenically frozen. Like, that's part of it. But go check it out. Vanilla Sky, I would recommend it. And it's based off like a French movie as well. So yeah, you know it's good. But anyways, let's keep passing the talking. Stick around. I wanted to check in. Did other Josh have something to say? Josh, give me a thumbs up if you want to jump in with anything now or even later. Okay, Josh, I'm going to bring up your microphone. Go ahead, Josh. What would you like to bring to the circle?
I mean, you guys hit home on everything today. It was crazy. Your whole, I guess, aspect of like building the city kind of thing, in your dreams. Mine's been the complete opposite. It's like tearing down the city that is already been built and going back to nature itself. How I think it's David or Danny, or I'm sorry, I didn't quite get the names, but how he said that there was really, really tall grass, and it's really hard to wrap my mind around what that was in my dream. But I went into, I guess you can call it like your spirit animal form or whatever. So I was really low to the ground. I thought it was really tall grass, but it was more of like I'm running around as like a wolf rather than anything else. So you know how you say you take different manifestations of yourself, and I guess for me in my dream state, it was like getting away from the city because I'm from the city. So it was like getting away from the city, getting away from all of that, and going back to, I guess, like Mother Earth or whatever you want to call it. I'm not too sure about it yet, but it was going back to that, and it was funny because there was like this little fox that was running around with me, yipping around everywhere. I'm obviously a bigger animal, I guess, in this dream state. So like every time I would look at it, and then it would come and like hang out right next to me. And we were running through the forest, we were running through the woods, and we came out to this ocean scene. And now there's the moon. And I know probably you love the moon as much as I do. So like it was like a really pretty sight to like, I guess, get away from the city or get away from all of that. And I was talking to people in Discord and trying to help them, or trying to ask them to help me understand what the hell I was seeing, because I really didn't understand what I was seeing. And there was somebody, I can't remember the name of the person, but they helped me find out about like spirit animals and then like the colors of like the animals and stuff like that. I was digging into it, and it was just like there's like a fox. I don't know who the fox was up until now. It was, I guess you can say, my significant other at the moment, and I guess we both, in my mind, it's like we both needed a little bit of an awakening or a little bit of an enlightenment, just to kind of get away from everything for a sec. And I guess that's why we went to the ocean, because I don't know. I'm just seeing different things, and it's real cool to see it in your dreams, because before it was all very like animatronic, like square shapes, triangles, and now it's like coming to life. Like there's trees, there's the moon, the sky, the stars. Before it was I'm a fucking an AI, I'm a robot. Like that that was all my dreams before. So coming to like this awakening and being able to see colors, like, but to see the energy of the planet flow it's pretty cool. So yeah, that was gonna be my dream story that I wanted to share.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome, man. So your dreams are becoming more detailed as you continue your practice. Like
yeah, that's what
it's like the
the
graphics are
person
being
that
turned
just
up.
a lot, like a
Yeah.
lot. So it's like, fuck, like hold on, like give me a second, like I need a second.
That's fascinating.
So that's why I guess I haven't been able to sleep as much lately, because my dreams are like way too intense, and even
Yeah.
my meditations are getting like really intense. Like
Interesting.
I guess I'm shying away from it for a sec, but like I guess I'm trying to understand it more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I always have all these questions, or I need to express myself, I guess you can put it.
Totally, man. I appreciate you doing so. And yeah, man, like and thank you for sharing. And I've you know, there's a whole topic there in itself, the idea of like dream fatigue. You know, the idea of literally getting tired from our dreams, you know, those dreams where you wake up and they might be either just like so adventurous where you're just like, holy crap, like I need to sleep after that dream. Like that took a lot out of me,
Yeah.
right? And then like other times
Yeah,
you'll
like
have, sorry, go ahead.
12 hours.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Again,
you
time
know, like,
dilation and
but
everything.
I felt like I slept 30 minutes. And it's just
Yeah.
like, ah.
And then again, you know, like
Why?
sometimes every now we'll have dreams that will just be like emotionally fatiguing, emotionally tired, you know, opposed to this emotional roller coaster. And like it's challenging. It can be challenging if you're going to sleep at night and you're just like, oh great, here comes like another emotional roller coaster. I wish I could just turn those off or something like that. And that's where again, like sometimes I know some people who do literally use cannabis for the purpose of kind of dialing back their dreams in a sense. Like different people have different relationship with cannabis. We commonly talk about the idea that smoking cannabis will affect dream recall. And of course, that's like worth mentioning in every broadcast because, you know, all of us should keep that in mind. But yeah, I know like, yeah, sometimes I've experienced that sometimes where like I've had like a few back-to-back nights where the dreams have been like really intense. And then like sometimes I'm like, okay, I just need to sleep tonight. I don't need to remember my dreams. I just need to sleep, you know? And so sometimes it's like working with the medicines to be able to give yourself that option. But yeah, dream fatigue, man, that's an interesting topic.
It sucks on my part because I used to be a big stoner back home, but I moved to China.
Right,
and
different world over there.
I don't have that out here,
Right,
so like
right.
it's just like crap. Like,
Oh, we got
what
like
do I do now?
plenty of teas that might help or something like that. Who knows? Find
Yeah,
a
I've been
blend.
looking
There's
into
something.
it.
There could be something there, man.
Something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's keep passing the talking stick around. I wanted to be able to check in. I know we still got Danny and Josh and Laura, other Josh, Shakti, and
I know
David.
Prana wanted to say something. I didn't mean to cut her off.
No. I sorry, you totally cool because I was gonna actually pass it to her. I was gonna check in. Shakti,
Okay.
give me some spirit fingers. You want to say something at some point? Now would be the time, if you want to. Sorry, are you talking right now?
Sure, I can say something.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to say something?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Go for it. You always got something.
I've got something.
No
to
pressure.
Say.
No pressure.
I'm Gemini, Leo. I always got something to say.
Perfect. Go for it.
Gotta love the Leos. I'm a Libra.
Oh, word. So I dream about tigers. And I wanted to end on like a nice note. So I had a really beautiful. I mean, I'm in a little bit of a different land, I think, than some of you guys. But that's besides the point. The point of my story is that I had a really beautiful dream recently. So I have this. I have this cat. I had this cat at one point in time. Just the reincarnations, and doing work with finding like guardians and protectors and kind of like more on the shamanic realm, I think, perhaps, and working with those spirit animals. And so I've just by naturally, I'm very naturally intuitive. So it's like just by naturally having those dreams, I figured a lot of stuff out. And just recently, I had a very vivid, visceral kind of like physical dream. But I was actually sleeping. Like, this was like I was legitimately like right here. I sleep on the ground. I abandoned sleeping in beds. I sleep flat on the ground on the hard floor, like just to keep the spine aligned and all kinds of other stuff. So like looking for what is the ancestral pattern of how we're supposed to sleep. And you're probably either sleeping in a tree or sleeping on the ground. So I was sleeping on the ground right here. And it was like a day after I had done this meditation on finding the guides. And I dreamed and I experienced like people perhaps who knew how to do Reiki were coming and they were healing my body, like these women, these like beautiful like soul sisters, as well as a tiger who was licking my left hand and just like doing that cat thing all over my left hand. And like I remember sleeping and feeling like, you know, watch out, like don't bite me in the hand, you know, like I was like saying don't bite me in the hand, but like I literally felt this experience in my body, like as I woke up, of like the healing hands and like this tiger with me. So that was like really cool, and it wasn't scary, and it was, you know, like a really beautiful experience that like I had, you know, done visioning work like around similar characters and things like that. So to have that then just manifest itself in the dream, like I don't lucid dream, like I don't control my dreams. But that was just very vivid. And like that being said, like we've been talking about these dreams for like 3 hours now, and it's like, dang, what am I going to dream about? What am I going to dream about tonight? Getting pretty tired, but
What do you want to dream about tonight? What if you had a choice? If you could dream about anything tonight, first thing that comes to your mind. First thing's the best thing.
Yeah, it's this house.
Again,
it's this house.
Go back
it's
there.
The house. I mean, I'm actually taking a business course right now, and like I have to finish the written vision about this house.
Sweet.
Because I have to get it out of my head, but it consumes it is like my deep desire.
It's calling
coming from of the spirit, like desire coming from the Latin of the spirit. So in my dreams, I'm working day and night as a shifter. Like I'm literally working day and night. Sleeping is often work.
Yes,
Gotta give myself
exactly.
real rest. We need real rest, though. It's give yourself permit. You know what I'm gonna say, guys, as my closing moment here. Please give yourself time to just like rest. You know, we do get so caught up in so much stuff, which is natural and normal and expected as we train for our, you know, day. And you know, just make sure you're also like we did plenty of like skill building right here in this conversation. You can give yourself a break, like, you know, just bring in that motherly, you know, Shakti and Hagam, like that's my motherly earth. You know, just giving you guys permission to rest and honor the body, because the body does need real sleep. You know, like let's make sure we're honoring our needs as we do this like upper level of like conscious evolution. It does tax the body. Shifting in and out of dimensions does tax the body. Drink your kombucha and you know, make sure you're getting your needs filled. That's it. Thank you, guys.
I dig it. Do you say make sure you're getting your roots filled? Is that what you said?
That too, but your needs.
Your needs filled. Feed your roots. Yeah,
that's right.
That's true.
Those ancestral memories.
Right? Yeah. Did you want to? I know. Yeah, we didn't talk about like ancestral dream stuff, but it's funny actually because I was about to say something related to that. Now that I realize it. But yeah, the idea.
I wrote a song about one of those experiences.
You wrote a song about it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Maybe you'll have to share that sometime.
I'll share it in the Discord app. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Those absolutely. That'd be perfect.
Ancestral memories, guys. But go ahead.
Yeah. Cool. First of all, the idea of being able to give ourselves permission to rest, I think, is incredibly important. And even within the dream space, you know, I think we can do that, where we can set the intention of not only, hey, what do I want to dream about tonight? How do I want to show up to my dreams? You can ask questions before you dream. You can ask for guidance before you dreams. And again, I know people who are at a level where like they've developed this relationship where they can do this. They literally use their dreams as this practical thing to be like, hey, I need to get some insight about this decision I need to make. And you're kind of like saying it to your guides or the universe. And then the universe is like, okay, sweet, here, let's help you out with that. And then it does it. But at the same time, you could also, give yourself permission to ask for rest if that's something that you want to do. And so in the same way, you're like, I want to have a dream where I like talk to God or something like that. You could also be like, I want to just be able to get a good rest tonight. And maybe sometimes the dreams won't be as entirely active. Like, I think the fact that dreams are so sometimes inconsistent, even though they can be consistent, is a very interesting dynamic. There's like a whole nother mystery there. Because again, it's like, how are these dreams being conducted on a higher dimensional level? What nights is it decided that some nights we're going to have super epic potent dreams, and then some nights we're just going to have like no recall at all? Like, where is the direction coming from? Like, who is, curating our dreams from the higher dimensional level? Again, those are questions I love to think about. But what I was going to say, going back to the ancestral stuff within dreams, and I'll pass the talking stick real quick after this, and we'll chat for a bit more, and then we'll wrap it up. Out of all the past like month, I told you guys that like I haven't really been having a lot of decent recorded dream recall. I've still been having potent dreams, but the couple dreams that I totally remember are two dreams where I spoke to two people of elders who had passed. One of the dreams was my grandfather, and I haven't had a dream with my grandfather in it for quite some time. It does show up every now and then. And he was in a wheelchair, and he was in a wheelchair at the end of his life. But it was just really fascinating. And again, and even within the dream, like I remember having the feeling of like going up and giving him a hug and literally just being like so grateful to be able to see him. And so even for me, just to be able to receive that gift and talking about it now, it's just like, wow, that's really beautiful, where dreams can give us that moment, that experience to be able to connect with someone who has left this physical dimension. That's something we haven't even talked too much about within this broadcast, but that's another thing about dreams, is that you can literally communicate with loved ones who have passed on within the dream space, because it's like that shared space of soul. And then the other dream that I had was actually about my friend Roy McDonald, who some of you would know, and I made that documentary about him called Our Friend Roy. It's on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. Just search Our Friend Roy on YouTube. But he is like this like old vagabond man who had this like wizard beard. He was a wizard, and he was like a very Merlin character, and he was like a shifter, and he went around town reading poetry and just like spreading love and compassion. But anyways, I remember meeting him in my dream, and I was just like, Roy, like, it's good to see you. Like, how have you been? And it was very funny, like what he said. And he's like, good. He's like, I've been alive this whole time. And so I was like, oh wow, like that's so fascinating. So like ever since the moment he died, he's continued living like within the dream space, was the message that I got from it. So he's been like walking around the dream space, because that's what he was always known for physically, was like walking around town carrying these bags full of like magazines and notes and poetry that he would share with people. And so in the dream space, he's, according to my dream interpretation, he's like still been being him, and he's been like enjoying himself like within this other dimensional space. So again, within that dream, it's up to me to be able to decide, was that actually that entity? Was it actually the consciousness of that individual? Was it my projection of them? Was it both? And I think the answer is somewhere in the middle, because it's just fascinating to think about how each of us has like an energetic pattern, and that pattern can kind of be summoned within other people's dreams, whether or not it actually is us. So like someone can have a dream about me. It might not mean that my soul is like super present there, but it could be like the energy pattern of me is there. So it's like almost like a simulation of me, but it's still like a hologram of me, if that makes sense. Again, it's kind of like, what is the science of this, right? Like, go ask an alien, they'll give you a better answer, but we're trying. Anyways, let's keep going a little bit more. Yeah. All right, just give me a thumbs up, whoever wants to say something next. I know Danny hasn't said anything in a bit, so we'll pass it to Danny. Perfect. I like how I like say that and then they put their hand up. I'm just like, we're already in the future, man. All right, Danny, bringing your microphone up. Go ahead, man. Let's move it into any closing, any thoughts you want to share, but then also like closing ideas, practical tips for the viewers to be able to go out on as well as we get close to wrapping it up. So go ahead, man.
You were saying like waking up sometimes and feeling like you don't remember, but you felt like something big really happened. I feel that way too sometimes, and I think like we're really just like receiving like huge upgrades and downloads in our dream time and when we sleep sometimes. And I do have a lot of dreams where like, and I feel like it's a representation of that, where I have a lot of dreams where like I'll be like in a classroom and I'm receiving this lecture and I'm learning something, and I dream a lot about being in classrooms a lot. So I really feel like a lot of us, we're still awake in other realms and we're still doing a lot of work. So like a lot of the time you can wake up feeling extremely fatigued, like you didn't even get a blink of sleep and you probably slept 8-10 hours, you know, and you just wake up fatigued because you're still working. You're working in the astrals. You're doing something. We're doing something. And so, and then also you said and that's what I think, like that's what I also use cannabis for. I think cannabis can be really good for like, all right, it's time to stop dreaming, you know, and just really get some rest when you really need it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I had on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, dude, totally. Like, the idea of being in a classroom, again, one thing that we haven't even really hit too much upon within this broadcast is just the idea that dreams function using the language of symbols. Like, the code of the dreams are symbols, right? So again, it's kind of interesting that from a higher consciousness level, say the consciousness of our higher self or aliens or God or whatever is trying to communicate something to us, by putting us in the symbol of a classroom, perhaps that can trigger our attention towards a certain place for us to be able to focus in a certain way, right? So again, like this is a topic that we can save for another broadcast, but just thinking about the symbolism of dreams, because it's always like the symbols that kind of express something more than what they are. Like it's always for every usually like for everything that's in your dream, there's always like multiple layers to its meaning as to why it's there, as like a literal thing and then as like a symbolic thing. And this is where you start getting into like the interpretation of your dream language, which you can actually start to decode. And this is where writing things down can become very valuable, because you start realizing what the code of your dreams actually are. And so like, yeah, it's really trippy to think about how we actually are communicating with aliens using symbols within our dreams, or at least that's one theory. But anyways, you're an alien.
I think that sometimes too they might even like wipe our memories so we don't get, so we're not scared, you know.
That yeah, man, like who's to say that, you know, there aren't some dreams where we're having like super vivid face-to-face conversation with higher dimensional entities, and then they just like MIB us with like a blinking thing, and then it's like, okay, time for you to wake up, go back now.
Yeah, but
like imagine if
I
they're just like
something about that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of imagining it from like a comical point of view, where in a higher dimensional dream, we go in this dream, we go up into like this like office in the sky, and they're just like, like Light Guardian, you're here, like here's your mission to create this beautiful place or to create this project.
Right.
It's like, here's your mission, you got it, you remember it, good, now, okay, now, boop. And then they make you kind of forget that moment, but they put you back in the game, and then you just wake up, and then a week later you're just like, wow, I really feel like creating that thing. And then it's like, wait, where did that idea come from? Oh, it was actually like an assignment given to you by a higher dimensional entity within your dream space. No big deal. Shakti, Shakti, can you go? Is that cool? Danny, or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, go ahead, Shakti.
Just it's very short. It's just so like we can have this conversation and be like all comfortable with it and like understand like our own version of what it is and stuff. But like I don't know if any of you guys recall, but I recall like as being a child being so terrified of this stuff, because I was doing this as a child and I had no guidance. Like the only language it's like Justin's daughter said earlier today, it's like the only language I had to describe it was like, there's aliens, like I'm afraid of aliens, or, you know, like whatever it is, because we're not taught about that. Of course, they tried to subdue it with the fluoride, and not to get all conspiracy like, but you know, you guys know. But some people like maintain that. And so as kids, there could be a lot of kids out there. And, you know, I used to be, you know, working with kids a lot as a teacher, and they don't have that guidance. And so like, I'm really conscious of like, how do I present this out in public forum? How do I talk about this with community members in a way that they're not going to get scared? Because a lot of us are on like a much higher level of higher level thinking and connection, because we've done the work. And then when we start to find other people who have that spark that's getting ignited, and they're coming to us, like we spoke about this in other times, like people are now coming to members of like Paradigm Shift Central, for example. How do we make sure we're guiding them in a safe way that's informed? A lot of people have experienced trauma in their lives through this kind of work, being emotionally sensitive, being empathic, being visionary, clairvoyant, not knowing. Again, this can be a trauma to a lot of people, and that's why a lot of people have shut it off as well, not having that guidance. So I'm so cognizant of that. Like I am a teacher, and just, you know, again, like kind of like tasking myself to make sure that I'm maintaining that integrity, so that there's like sustainability and not turning people away, turning people off, or you know, trying to hold space for people when they're just coming into this awakening, and it can be scary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point. And again, I think that brings up a very interesting discussion of, you know, you can almost get into this idea of like psychic self-defense would be something that people kind of talk about. Or again, even, you know, Danny was kind of talking about the idea of kind of having like his organite pendant that he uses like as like a charge totem for helping protect him within the dreams. Again, it's like is it the pendant, or is it the symbol of the pendant that gives it its power? So, you know, you could teach a kid, you could be like, here, hold this crystal, this stone is gonna, you know, protect you from the boogeyman, or something like that. You could tell them that, or something like that. But at the same time, I think when it comes to dreams, I think realistically, if you're teaching someone, it's not so much this idea of trying to keep those experiences away from them, but it's almost kind of creating the context so that when they do experience something that might be a bit jarring, that they're able to process it upon waking up with a little bit more context. And they can be like, oh, okay, next time that boogeyman shows up, I'm gonna turn him into a puppy, or something like that, right? Because if you never face the boogeyman, you're never actually going to receive the lesson that the boogeyman has to teach you, which again, I think it's actually teaching you how to become more powerful within the dream. But again, like I know there's way more to go into this topic, and people talk about, you know, entities kind of like interfacing with our dream space, and some people kind of have that perception of lucid dreaming and astral projection opening you up to like demonic possession and things like that. Again, I think it really goes back to like what story you're telling yourself is a story you also open yourself to. If you're just like, dude, I'm not going to lucid dream, that's going to get me demonically possessed, and then one day you have like a really scary dream, and then you wake up and you're just like, I think I'm demonically possessed, and then you just keep feeding that idea. It's like the quote unquote demons or something feed on like what idea you're giving them or something. So again, it's weird. There's like this whole back end stuff of how this reality works, where it's like they only feed off you if you let them feed off you, if you give them that power, and they're only there to feed off you until you realize that the power they have over you is the power you give them. So once you reclaim that power, then you're just like, oh, okay, now I understand. And then you're kind of like have like your shields up and stuff like that. Again, it's like, I'm not an expert on this, I'm just trying to piece together. But yeah, I think as kids and everything, I think for them to be able to understand that there may be dreams that are going to be like a little bit spooky or something like that, but to understand that they themselves have a purpose, it can be a very beneficial thing. But again, it's the context that's most important, so that kids can wake up and they can actually verbalize this. Otherwise they'll just internalize it, and they'll just be like, oh my god, I had a very vivid dream last night that I was in a car accident with my family, and I feel that and I carry that with me, or something like that. You know, if a kid is unable to process that properly, like that could turn into like emotional energy that might kind of even affect their chakras, and suddenly their heart chakra starts to close because they start to get really scared, or they start to develop like a phobia of like being in vehicles because it flashes back to that memory or something like that. Where at the same time, you know, if you were looking at that dream from like a higher perspective, maybe there's something there where it's not so much about trying to traumatize you with this car accident experience in a dream, but maybe that dream was also reminding you of how grateful you are for your family and how much you love them here and now. knowing that, you know, life is impermanent, and who knows, a car accident could happen any day or something like that. So it's like literally just kind of not focusing on the fact that the car accident is what happened, but focusing more so on the feeling of how much you love your family upon waking up and realizing, oh my God, thank goodness that was just a dream, or something like that, you know? And you can apply the same concept. I'm sure we've all had it, where we've had dreams of like friends getting hurt or something like that. And you know, you just wake up and you're just like, dude, like, I just got to call you and tell you that I love you, man. And then that actually sets off like a chain of synchronicities or something, where it's like, even still, the universe was just kind of like, hey, you need to reflect on something, or you need to, you know, be more grateful of something that perhaps you're overlooking, or perhaps you're just distracted by something else. So this is going to help recalibrate your focus. So again, when we kind of step back to that idea of really trusting that there is no dream that we have by accident, and that every dream that we have has a purpose, then we start to show up as students with that investigative and curious mind to be able to be like, okay, like, what is the lesson here? What is the purpose of this dream? The universe isn't picking on me. It's not being a bully to me. It is making sure that I'm paying attention as a student. What am I learning from this? What is the lesson? Because if you're not paying attention, you're not learning the lessons, you're not going to graduate, you know, in that metaphorical concept of this being a school of life and everything like that. So show up to the lessons within your dreams, and then you'll be ready for the tests as they come. So, and that's another idea, is that, like, you know, the dream space is like literally like a simulation to be able to prep us for the experiences that are coming our way within this physical reality later in the timeline. Let me just check in. Is the Google Hangouts working right now? It looks like the window's kind of lagging for a bit here, so I'm just going to keep on babbling. And also checking in, let me just check the audio here. Yeah, I know the video is frozen on the YouTube, so we're just giving this an extra second, and it should be good now. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you guys can still hear me in the Google Hangout? I know I phased out of dimensions there for a second. All right, who wants to take the talking stick next? David? Okay, cool. I knew it was going to be him. Dude, I'm so psychic. I am on fire right now. Okay, David, let me pull up your microphone. 1 second. Okay, go ahead, dude. Any thoughts on what we were talking about or anything? Go for it.
I most definitely much more enjoy my dreams than I do like the reality that I inhabit. I don't mean that in a morbid way. I just truly look forward to every night I go to sleep. I'm like, yes, I'm getting into the zone. I'm getting into that wherever the fuck I go, and it's beautiful because like that, like the adventures, like the possibilities, like what happens. I don't like. I just let it take me, and the reason why I don't feel like there's any reason to fear like possession or any of that is because you are the one. You are the source. Like you have an umbilical cord connected between you and the source, figuratively speaking, and that umbilical cord cannot be cut by any means. Like nothing has power over you, man. You have every reason to feel like wherever you step, you are protected by your own like certainty of like assurance of what you are, and what you are is everything. You are everything and nothing. You are the universe. You know what I mean? You're a piece of the universe, and yet you're a universe in the whole. So like I say, like, you know, like if the dreams are too intense and stuff, like just know that like you are like the one. You are God. Like that's the best way I could put it. So I don't know. I just love my dreams, and I hope everyone could like find that same like love for their like next adventure that comes away though, because life is a dream. You know, who knows? Maybe at the end of it all, you'll realize that it was just a simulation of a bigger thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. I think that's a very elegant idea, dude. Very simple, but just the idea of learning to love our dreams. Because I think that's the most important thing that we can do to help launch us into like a new way of living, is to literally just be able to love our dreams. And you said it, like the idea of showing up each night for your dreams, like with a degree of excitement. And we've talked about this before, being able to show up for our dreams as like a sacred ceremony as well is something that is a very powerful idea. You know, every night as you prepare to enter into your dreams, you're literally doing it as if you are stepping into the circle of a psychedelic ceremony, in a sense. Just give it 2 seconds here. I'm just making sure that the feed is coming through. Again, I know the audio is coming through on the YouTube, but the Google Hangout keeps glitching out. So we're gonna get close to wrapping this up soon. I'm not sure if people in the Google Hangout heard me there. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you heard me there? Did I disappear for you guys too?
You disappeared from me, yeah.
For you guys? Oh, okay. Well, anyways, yeah, I was just talking about the idea of being able to show up to our dreams as a psychedelic ceremony and loving our dreams and the importance of that.
Oh, fuck it, yeah.
It's super important. But yeah, like that idea, right? Like seeing our dreams as psychedelic ceremony, that is like a good segue, because next week's broadcast for Paradigm Shift Destiny School, which is what we do once a month with a specific topic, is about psychedelic experiences. So we'll be able to talk about not just psychedelic substances, but psychedelic experiences within dreams, and also, you know, like even like OBEs, NDEs, and kind of connecting the dots all across the board there. But yeah, like it's like, again, like you go to sleep each night, your brain releases DMT, you're like having this beautiful psychedelic experience, you're traveling through dimensions, you're like meeting past versions of yourself, families who have passed on, talking to aliens. Like, holy crap, if you were trying to sell me on the idea of dreams, like that'd be an easy, I'd buy that, right? You know? So anyways, okay, let's keep passing talking, stick around. Again, I want to be able to get close to wrapping this up pretty soon, but I want to be able to give everyone here just a chance to add any closing thoughts for, you know, keep in mind, people listening, if you want to pass on some inspiration, some messages of encouragement for them on their practice, and any practical tips as well. And who wants to go next? Okay, Josh and Laura, we're gonna pass over to you guys, and when you're ready, go right ahead. And David, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you guys are good. Go for it. Go ahead, Laura.
Okay. When you go to sleep at night, if you go with love and happiness and joy, you'll have better dreams.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's a very, 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 very important reminder. So awesome. Thank you, Laura. And anybody else who wants to jump in? Danny, or Josh? Do either of you guys want to jump in with, again, even as we get close to this, even just expressing gratitude before we move into our meditation is totally cool as well. So Josh, go ahead. Let me pull up your microphone real quick. All right, you're good, dude. Go for it.
Yeah, I guess all I can really do or say is thank you guys. Like, it is a big help. Seriously. Just discussion itself is a big help. Or knowing that there's other people out there that are probably going through the same thing. And the fact that I can always jump into the Discord group, don't mean to plug, but it really does help. So, and thank you for the classes every Sunday. I mean, well, damn, it's not even Sunday. The meditation groups, and I mean, because Josh, the other Josh, not this Josh, but the other Josh did help me out 2 weeks ago. Like guiding me through his little forest, man. It was a beautiful forest. That's all I gotta say.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, thank you, Josh. Go ahead. Other Josh. Did other Josh? Oh, Josh, you're a little bit choppy. Try again. Give it 2 more seconds for Josh.
There was some kind of.
There we go.
Oh.
Okay, try now.
It was electrical.
Go now.
It was crazy. There was like some kind of static coming through, and it was like really hard to hear. Painful.
Oh, weird.
Was the best word.
Aliens.
Yeah.
It's the aliens.
Yeah, that's kind of what
That's what I was thinking.
I'm starting to sweat.
We see them out here.
All right, Josh, go ahead. What were you saying there? You're just responding to other Josh, I think.
Yeah, like that was a pleasure of mine, you know, doing that meditation. Even like it just kind of came up, and I did it like last minute out of the blue. I had like half an hour to kind of prepare for it, and I don't know. I feel like it's those things that just call you to do something, and then to dreams in a way, because like this whole conversation has been really eye-opening for me.
Full of synchronicities.
For real.
And like it's really inspiring to hear other people.
Oh, it's a little bit laggy there. Stand by. Dreamers, stand by. Josh is coming through. Was it
like I've really like I've started to kind of get the underlying meaning. Like I had a dream the other day, and I forget what happened in it, but I voiced it to Laura here, and then with us kind of working together on it, we got out a hidden meaning in it that what I wasn't really aware of at the time, but it was so clear, you know, being able to talk about it and just express what it was. And I don't get too into my dreams, but at the same time I do. And I've had those times in my life. Like I've been smoking cannabis like almost every day now. So maybe that's part of the reason why I don't remember as much of them. And like she was pointing out today as well, because I said I've been sleeping 10, 11, 12 hours a night and just not wanting to get up in the morning, but having so many dreams. I feel like that's and then this is perfect. Like this dream class, and I didn't even know if I was going to be joining it or not. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just watch it, you know, and then something just pulled me, and it kept me here, you know, because there's always the option to just stop watching the live feed if something comes up. But when you're engaged in it, it's a whole nother thing.
I should have gone home hours ago.
It's a good testimonial. Dream class. I should have gone home hours ago. Josh, Laura, thank you again for being here. Appreciate you guys.
Much
Go ahead,
appreciation. Yeah. So much gratitude.
Thank you
for all these,
awesome.
all the people in here sharing.
Awesome. Thank you.
And you, facilitator.
I am just a figment of your dream imagination. It's the wizard behind the curtain. Don't mind me. I will pass the talking stick around. I think the Hangout's glitching again, so that's why we can't hear them for a second, but it will come back in a second.
Yeah.
All right, okay, cool. Thank you again, Josh, Lori. Love you guys. All right.
I think she's going to be joining the Discord here.
Oh, perfect. Lori, you're totally invited to join the Discord. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. So again, we're getting close to the end of the broadcast. Just kind of going around the circle. Any closing thoughts and gratitude for anyone who would like to share anything? Please feel free to do that. Looks like Danny might have dropped out. I'm not sure if he said goodbye first, but thanks to Danny if he's not back in here. And Josh already said some stuff. Josh said some stuff too. David, I can pass it over to you if you just want to even just express any gratitude or closing thoughts for the other dreamers out there. Go right ahead, dude. Your microphone's up.
I just want to say, yeah, thank you for having me on. I mean, I've been putting it off for a while, and I apologize for that, but everything has its time, and I guess today was its time. And for everyone out there, again, I want to emphasize the fact that you have nothing to fear no matter where you are, physically, astrally, consciously, no matter what, you are the source. So no matter what, you are the light in the darkness, and darkness cannot consume the light, you know? Like the stars in the universe shining in the blackness, that's what you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you are your nightmares too. So like when you can like learn to like love those, like that's the hack. Like
yes.
That's the hack, man. It's just like Care Bear stare, shoot that light and pierce the darkness type thing. So something like that.
Alan Watts, Yin and Yang, check out his lectures about the Yin and Yang.
Right. God
Alan
is
Watts.
A black woman. So talks about the black space. So that's where it come from. But
yeah, he's the best.
Sweet. Well, dude, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, looking forward to being able to share more of your video creations. Again, for everyone here, be sure to check out the Angry Hippie on YouTube. David's been making some amazing videos, like super high quality production, like mini documentaries, basically all about shifting paradigms. So be sure to check that out. And his stuff's on the main website under featured videos, as well as on the Discord as well. So dude, thank you again, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. And it looks like Danny's in here. His phone died for a second, but he has been resurrected from the digital dead. Danny, thank you so much for being here as well. Just giving it a second here as my browser does the loading pinwheel thing. Danny, I want to pass the talking stick over to you. Just any closing gratitude that you would like to be able to express. And then again, we'll do a micro meditation in the dream tree, and then everyone will go to sleep and we'll dream. And then we'll come back on another broadcast. Danny, let me fold your microphone. Go ahead, dude. You're good.
Okay, I just wanted to say it has been an honor and a pleasure to have shared this space with you guys. It's truly great being able to speak with and share thoughts with like-minded individuals. because going about, you can't speak your mind and be your authentic expression of yourself out in the real world, because people are gonna ridicule you and think you're crazy, or they're gonna think you're some sort of Satan worshiper.
I'm a Sagan worshiper. Hail Sagan. Carl Sagan. I'm honestly not Carl Sagan's a cool guy, but I'd have to watch more of his stuff until I can totally say I'm a Saganite or whatever. Don't mind me. Anyways, just babbling. Danny, thank you again, man. Appreciate you being here. And yeah, looking forward to having more discussions. And yeah, thank you, man. And again, for everyone here, I want to be able to remind you that with the upgrades that have taken place through the website, we are focusing more on the quest journal creations. So use the quest journals as a place, as a channel to focus your intention towards documenting your dreams. Like, that is part of the reason why the quest journals are there. Again, quest journals are basically blogs that we write that are meant to be, at least they should take about 3 minutes to read. So it shouldn't be one paragraph. It should at least be a few paragraphs. But again, like, maybe you won't remember that full detail of a dream. If that's the case, you can post it into the team Discord chat and into the discussion. You can share it there, but use as practice. And then eventually you'll be able to have like a full-fledged dream journal entry within your quest journal. And you can also do it in the form of a video log as well as something. And again, for those of you who have been tuned into my YouTube, you know that that's something I've done plenty of times, where I'll wake up from a dream and I'll film myself on camera and I'll talk about that, and then I'll upload that as a quest journal. So use that as a space to be able to help inspire you on your practice. Now that you have a place to know that, like, oh, I should write down my dreams and make a quest journal and share it with the community, like that, just having that place to do that can actually call forth the like motivation and inspiration for the dreams to be able to be recorded in the first place. So again, I think literally the thing that's trippy with dreams is that when you set out that intention, when you communicate to the universe, hey, I'm interested in my dreams and I'm interested in remembering my dreams and recording my dreams and getting deeper with my dreams, then the universe is just like, good, we're going to start sending you stuff. Get ready to receive it. So the thing with dreams that I feel is a big kicker is that we actually have to almost give them permission. We have to communicate. There's almost like a degree of free will where certain dreams won't come to us unless we consent. So if we're literally talking to our higher selves or guides or angels or whatever, and we're just like, okay, I am interested in this. I am ready for this. I am looking to experience more of this. Then it will hear that and it'll be like, okay, here they come. You, like, as you ask, so shall you become. You know, like, it's like putting in an order for the universe and it delivering exactly what you want, even if you don't know what you want. But that's exactly how it works. You're just like, give me what I need, and then it's a surprise. So that's just how the cosmic cookie crumbles, as I say. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. I'll just remind you that we have regular broadcasts through Paradigm Shift Central team roundtables every Thursday, rotating through topics. Next week, again, is Destiny School. It's going to be on the topic of psychedelic experiences, not just psychedelics, psychedelic experiences. So that will be psychedelics and NDEs and lucid dreaming. We'll tie it in as well. Just the potential of the conscious mind beyond the physical body and all those things. And also we have our regular guided global meditations on Sundays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, subscribe to youtube.com/skullbabylon. Make sure you like this video if you're watching it and you enjoy it, and be sure to leave some comments afterwards to let us know that you watched all the way to this point in the video. And also, if you want to be able to help support the ongoing evolution of the community, you can do that anytime by supporting on the team Patreon at patreon.com/Brendon Culliton with a monthly micro donation. And there is a new feature if you go to live.paradigmshiftcentral.com, which you should do in anyways, and create your profile there if you want to add quest journals, where you can also donate with the option of not getting a shifter booster kit. So if you just want to make a single donation or just like a monthly donation, but without expecting to get a shifter booster kit, or even a yearly donation, those options are now available through the main website. So thank you again to everyone for supporting in all the ways that you do. You help make this project possible. And again, we are still launching into some very exciting things, and yeah, planting some very powerful seeds, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to co-create together. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. And I'm just going to give this 1 second as the browser lags. And yeah, once we make those, like, raise those funds, then we'll buy a new computer, and all this lag stuff will be a thing of the past. That's the intention. So All right, giving it one more second here, and then we're gonna get ready for our closing meditation. I just want to make sure that, okay, you guys can hear me now. Sorry if I glitched out there, I might have disappeared. Okay, moving into our closing meditation. So I would just invite everyone to get nice and comfortable. If you guys want to close off, sorry, just double checking. Shout out to Shakti as well. I think she's off camera, just settling in for the night. So Shakti, thumbs up to you. Thank you as well, and everyone, thank you everyone. Thank you to the universe. I want to thank God. I want to thank you. I want to thank the God that is you. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting tired here. What? Okay, let's meditate. Everyone, if you want, you can turn off your cameras if you're in the chat, or meditate on camera, whatever you're comfortable with. It's totally fine. And I'm going to switch over to the paradigm shift sigil on the YouTube broadcast so that you guys can see that as well. Actually, I don't have the dream tree image up right now, and I don't want to open it because it will probably crash my computer. But nonetheless, for those of you in the Google Hangouts, can you guys give me a thumbs up in the Google Hangouts? You guys can still hear me okay? I know it's like chopping in and out. Okay, good, thank you. All right, so moving into this closing meditation, this is something that we literally do every single broadcast with Dream Class, and it's a very simple concept. The basic idea is creating a connection to what we refer to as the dream tree. And the dream tree is related to the concept of shared dreaming, where we spend time meditating on it, pouring our love into it, crystallizing it with intention so that we can return to this space in the dream plane, in the astral realms. And we vision ourselves sitting around the tree, communicating, having a party, having a festival, being there as connecting as a tribe. And then as we meditate on this, we create the invitation and the story and the context to be able to bring this experience into our dream practice. So you can think about it while falling asleep. You can think about it while daydreaming during the day. And there have been people in the community who have documented literally having dreams where they've been at this tree. So it's crazy. It blows your mind to think that this is actually, how you can build worlds in the dream place. In the same way you can imagine worlds from the dream place and we build them here physically, here we're using the physical dimension to build worlds in the astral planes. Does it happen both ways? That's kind of what we're playing with, but I think it does. So that's why we're doing it. And it's a little bit kind of like this is like new frontiers of consciousness that we're embarking in on. And again, utilizing the natural technology of dreams, creating the intention to be able to focus on this dream tree, pour our love into it, go there in a short meditation, and return there in our dreams. So I invite everyone to get nice and comfortable. This will be a short meditation, no more than like 50 minutes. Just kidding. It will be less than 10. And after that, we will wrap up the broadcast, and everyone will go to sleep. And be sure to keep a dream journal next to your bed tonight so you can write down your dreams in the morning. Awesome. Good idea. Okay. Just going to take a sip of water here. So just inviting everyone to get nice and comfortable. Even if you want to lie down, you're more than welcome to. If you want to fall asleep, you're more than welcome to. Okay. So find a place where you can get nice and comfortable. Allow yourself to relax. When you're ready, you can gently close your eyes. And so in this moment, just allowing our body to relax by connecting with our breath. Gentle inhales through the nose. Gentle exhales through the nose or the mouth. Again, gentle inhales. And gentle exhales. With each breath, you give yourself permission to become more relaxed, to move your body into a place of stillness. And so we will quickly scan the body before going deeper into the meditation. And as we scan the body, we calibrate our focus and we give ourselves permission to go deeper. So as we continue to breathe here, gently bringing awareness to our feet, our shins, and our knees. And as we do this, gently allowing our feet, our shins, and our knees to slowly relax. Good. Moving our awareness up to our thighs, to our buttocks, to our hips, and to our groin. and just imagining a warmth, a white light moving into this space of our body. And again, as we do this, just imagining that part of our body, our thighs, our buttocks, our hips, and our groin to gently relax. Moving our awareness up to our torso, our stomach, our lower back, gently allowing our torso, our stomach, and our lower back to gently relax. Moving our awareness up to our chest, to our back, our shoulders, and gently allowing our chest, our back, and our shoulders to relax, simply breathing into them. And again, continuing, bringing awareness to our biceps, our elbows, our arms, our hands, and gently allowing our biceps, our elbows, our arms, and our hands to relax. And finally, bringing awareness to our neck, to our jaw, to our face, to our ears, to our head. And again, allowing our neck, our jaw, our face, our ears, and our head to relax. So just take a moment here to notice how you feel in this place of calmness. And as we do this, we'll begin to bring our focus inwards using our imagination, really focusing on the senses as we create our connection with this world. It is through the permission in the story that we enter into it. And so begin by imagining yourself in an open field. And off in the distance, you see the dream tree. And you can see people standing around the dream tree, gathering, celebrating, and yet you are still quite a ways away from it. Even in this moment, you can feel the texture of the grass underneath your feet. Focusing on the sensations, wiggle your toes in the grass, in the dirt, feel the air on your skin. And right now you can feel the sun, but the sky is actually filled with a cosmic landscape. So it is not just clouds and blue, but is actually like a lit up night sky almost. Very dreamlike. And so you look at the tree and you can see it glowing. You can see a pulse emanating from it. And in particular, above the tree, you actually see the paradigm shift sigil floating, pulsating as pure energy. And you realize the connection between the tree, the symbol, the sigil, and us, serving as a beacon, serving as a point, as a symbol within this story to call together other dreamers and shifters for us to be able to meet. And so you look at the paradigm shift sigil and you see a pulse coming out of it, a message being sent, a beacon being lit. And so in this moment, you can gently imagine yourself slowly beginning to levitate as if within a dream. And as you do this, you can feel the lightness of your body and slowly begin to move towards the tree while also feeling almost like a natural current of the tree pulling you towards it, like a stream of water that you are gently in. And when you relax your body, you feel yourself moving towards the location of the dream tree. And even at this point, as you are moving your body as much as you can associate with the physical body that you have right now in this dimension, you're also invited to be able to imagine yourself as a single point of light, perhaps at the center of your chest, or perhaps at the center of your brain in your third eye. And the body is merely serving as a construct based on that single point of light. And so you move and you float closer towards the dream tree, imagining with as much detail as you can and seeing this dream tree, imagining it as magically as you choose to, flexing your imagination, looking at the tree, almost imagining it like one of those trees that you've seen in the movie Avatar, perhaps bioluminescent even, glowing in ways uncommonly seen within this physical dimension, yet still eloquently beautiful in higher dimensional space. And so you are now underneath the branches of the tree, there are other shifters, light guardians here at the tree with you, engaged in their own interactions, having conversations, giving back massages, dancing, discussing, anything. And so in this moment, you connect with the tree, you step under closer to the tree trunk. And in the moment of your choosing, slowly lift up your hands and pay attention to the exact moment when you make contact with the tree with intention. So imagine your fingers almost hovering a few inches away from the tree bark. You look up the tree, you feel a sense of love move through your body, and you pay attention to the exact moment when your skin touches the tree bark, and you can feel what that feels like. And as you do this, you feel a connection move through your body. You feel a breath move through your body, and breathe deeper in this moment. Straighten up your spine as if you feel the strength of the tree in you. You feel the sturdiness of its trunk in you. You feel its roots reaching into the ground in you. You feel its branches reaching into the heavens in you. And so with your hands now on the tree, inviting you to connect with it in a way that makes sense for you. So maybe this means putting your head against the tree, your forehead against the tree. Maybe it means literally imagining yourself hugging the tree. It can be a variation of any of these in any moments. And so as you are connected with the tree, physically connected with it, you open your heart, you breathe in its life, while at the same time you pour your love into it. You pour your love and light into it. And as you do this, you further crystallize this tree into this dimension. The more you can spend time literally just thinking about it with an open heart, pouring your love into it literally crystallizes it within the higher dimensional planes. It establishes a connection, a personal connection that you have with the dream tree. Develop a unique relationship between yourself and this tree, seeing this tree as both a beacon within the context of our community, but also a symbol of Earth, of Gaia, of consciousness itself. Understanding that even where we are right now, the tree itself doesn't have to be thought of as being even on Earth. The planet that we are on or not on is irrelevant, yet can be still meaningful. And so nonetheless, you see the symbol of the tree as connecting with the symbol of who you are, the cosmic tree that you are. And so you see this tree not just as a tree, but as a conscious entity, as a guardian, standing and serving, existing beyond time. And so you breathe here with your heart open into this tree. You feel the strength of it. Imagine yourself hugging the tree a little bit tighter in this moment. You feel the colors, blues and greens and purples and a bit of gold moving through the veins of the tree and moving through your body. You feel life coming into you as you move your life into it, creating a symbiotic relationship, creating a cycle. And so take a few moments here to literally just connect with the tree. Breathe here just for the next few moments without me talking, and literally just be here with the tree. Speak with it, listen to it, express gratitude for it, and set the intention to return to it within your dreams, within your imagination, within this nation of the Magi. And so breathe here for the next few moments, and then I'll return, and then we will slowly conclude the meditation. So go ahead and continue to connect here. Let the visualizations come to you. Focus on the feeling. Be here with the tree for the next few moments. Go ahead. Let's take a few more breaths. Keep going. Just in this space. And for your next breath, intentionally slow it down. Intentionally reduce the speed of your breath by 75% to 50%, meaning 75% less of 100. And just really take your time with this, understanding that literally the time that we spend focusing our attention is the time that we spend focusing our love. So spend this time in this space. That is all you need to do. And so as you continue to breathe here, connecting with the tree, slowly begin to imagine yourself releasing the hug if you are hugging it, and gently positioning yourself so that you are now sitting with your back to the tree, sitting in lotus position underneath the tree, or even just standing underneath the tree with your back to it. And you feel the strength of the tree up your back, along your spine. And you breathe here, and again, you can visualize the branches of the tree moving up your spine, extending from your crown, as well as the roots moving down your spine, expanding from your roots. And so breathe here in this moment. Imagine yourself looking around, seeing the other shifters who are here on a multidimensional plane. Again, understanding that literally us talking about this now is because it already exists. This is beyond the idea of just being a novel idea. Open your heart to the idea that this place exists, and in parallel realities right now, we are already there. So as much as you are imagining this, what you are really doing is giving yourself permission to align with the reality that already is present. And so, to conclude the meditation, imagining yourself sitting under the tree, looking around at the other shifters. Give yourself permission to smile, physically smile, sending love out to the other shifters, to all of us on the team, a reflection of humanity as a whole. Just sending love out to all beings, and feeling the love of the tree, of the dream tree, connecting with you, and setting the intention, planting the seed to be able to return back to it and allow yourself to be guided back to this tree by the feeling that you establish through your relationship with it. So feel this tree as a friend, feel this tree as an elder, feel this tree as a fellow extension of the God that you are. And so take a few moments to breathe here. And slowly, at your own pace, we will begin to transition our awareness back to our physical body, with the understanding that there is a part of us that will remain sitting under this tree, sitting under this dream tree. So you are sitting yourself down into this part of this multidimensional reality so that you can return there when you choose, within your dreams, within your imagination. So breathe into that reality, make it real. And so with a couple more breaths at your own pace, gentle inhales through the nose, feeling the gratitude, the inspiration, the compassion. Feeling the excitement to return to this dream tree in a dream state, in a lucid state. Feeling the future of what things will be like when we will be able to actively go there consistently. Merging that reality into the present through the work we are doing today. And with just a couple more breaths, slowly we'll begin to transition our awareness back to the physical body, feeling the love of the tree and the love of the community in our heart. And when you are ready, gently, you can begin to wiggle your toes, to gently wiggle your fingers. And when you are ready, you can gently open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. Wonderful. Awesome. Good job, team. So let's take a few moments here, nice and slow, calibrating ourselves back to this physical dimension. Welcome back. And before we wrap up the broadcast, if anybody did want to give any quick sharing based on the meditation, absolutely. And then we will conclude the broadcast. So again, you know, we've been doing that Dream Tree broadcast consecutively since we started Dream Class, which at this point, I think is over 20 episodes of Dream Class that we have done. So you can imagine every time people tune in and they listen and they literally just spend their time thinking about this, it crystallizes this, brings it into this reality. So it's a very fascinating idea and one that I feel is just like intuitively something worth doing. So would anybody here want to share any thoughts on just like what that meditation was like for them, even if it's just like gratitude or anything like that? That's totally welcome. Otherwise, we'll get close to wrapping it up, and that's totally cool. So Josh and Laura, let me just bring up your microphones. Go ahead, Josh. One second. Josh, you got yourself muted there. Give it a second there. Try and mute yourself. The microphone level's up, so I'm not sure why it's mute. There you go. Okay, it should work. Yep, you're good. Go for it.
That was awesome. Once again, I love all your meditations, and I could see myself at the Dream Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go somewhere else for that?
No, I was at that Dream Tree.
We were both at the Dream.
Perfect.
I felt myself as like at one point when I was hugging the tree, I kind of saw my light body, and I'm so glad that Laura's here next to me too, because like I saw both of our light, and our light bodies like at the tree, and it solidified the experience even further.
That's cool.
And then when I turned around and saw the other shifters, like I always envision like light bodies, but at the same time it's like physical merging with light, and it's always just so beautiful whenever you take me on a journey, or whenever I go on a journey on my, like, because it's so much easier when you guide it, because my mind it goes from one thing to the next so quickly, but whenever you're guiding these meditations, I can just get right into it, and it's so amazing. I'm so grateful for you facilitating this.
Matt, that was awesome. Really enjoyed that, and happy solstice to everybody.
Happy solstice, everybody. Yay. Awesome. Thank you again so much for being here. And yeah, I'm excited for, you know, full moon solstice dreams tonight. My goodness, what's on the menu? So it'll be fun. So Laura, Josh, thank you again so much for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. So awesome. Sweet. All right. Josh or Danny, or if Shakti is still around, if either of you would like to share any, again, just things related to that little meditation, gratitude, please feel free to do so. We'll get close to wrapping it up. So that's sorry, other Josh, let me just bring up your mic.
Meditation.
Sorry, Josh, go ahead. Start over. You were just saying.
I said I'm always.
Let's give it a second here.
What to say after? That's the best way that I can describe it.
Sorry, can you say
that Dream Tree was real?
Can you say that again? Just because it lagged out, so they didn't hear you either.
That I'm always mind melted after our meditations, so I can never put like what.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What I just experienced.
Right. Cool. Well, I'm glad it was an experience. So awesome.
Like the mind tree, or like our tree, it kind of takes like a picture of an actual brain.
Yeah. I dig that. Hold on. Google Hangouts just buffering. Don't worry, we're almost on the broadcast. It's okay. Hang in there, Google. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you, Google. Don't crash on us yet. Okay. 2 seconds, folks. And we will get ready to wrap up this broadcast. If it's like super glitchy, then I'll wrap up the broadcast manually. I'm going to check the playback on YouTube to see whether or not it's entirely lagged out. I think it's good. Okay, it's coming back. All right. Check. Google Hangouts, can you guys give me a thumbs up again? I know I just lagged out hard there, so.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm good? Okay, cool. Thanks, man. All right. Thank you. Thanks, brother. And Danny, did you wanna say anything before we wrap it up? Just say goodnight to everyone.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Normally I have a hard time with visualization, but that was very prominent for me. I imagined like this field with the big and I saw you wearing, this was kind of weird. I saw you wearing like this tuxedo with a tailcoat and a top hat. I don't know why.
Oh, really? That sounds about right. I'm like the showman in like the ring circus or something.
Exactly.
Facilitator, yeah.
And like the insignia was actually like in the tree. Like the tree was carved out to look like the insignia.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I dig that. That's pretty cool. Nice. I like that imagery. Cool, man.
But yeah, that was lovely. Like normally, like my attention spans all over the place, but like I felt like I was really able to zone in that time.
Sweet. Well, again, thank you everyone for being there. And yeah, it's really interesting just to be able to observe like the power of meditations collectively as a team. So yeah, when we all sink into that state together, it just makes it more accessible. So cool. Awesome. Well, Danny, thank you again for being here. I'm glad you were able to make it to this broadcast, and,
and thank you for having me.
Looking forward to collaborating more in the future. So
me as well.
Much love, brother. Awesome.
Much love.
Sweet. So for anybody here who you heard in the broadcast, pretty much everyone here is in the team Discord. So if you're looking to connect with them, be sure to join the team Discord, and you can even just say like, hey, who is that person in the broadcast? And someone will link you to them. But yeah, there's a lot to be able to do there through the team interactions as well. So thank you again to everyone in the YouTube Hangout, on the YouTube live chat. Sending lots of love to everyone there. Lots of familiar faces. Thank you so much. Quick shout out to 1111 Balance, Implying, Arnav, Angie, and several other people not having this who was here earlier. And Canadian guitarist, Arita. So much. Everyone, thank you so much for joining in. So, yeah, with that said, we are ready to conclude this broadcast. So just sending so much love out there to all the other dreamers, and continuing to, plant the seeds of inspiration so that we can put more attention and focus within the dream practices, so that we can continue to wake up within the dream space and within the physical reality, waking up on all fronts, and continuing to become better dreamers within the dream, and cosmic citizens all around. So thanks for leveling up together. So with that said, we are going to play the outro music and bring this broadcast to an end. So inviting all the fellow shifters here to make some noise as we say good night to everyone, and join us over in the team Discord chat, and we will see you guys next time. So thank you so much, everyone. Shifters of the world, unite. All right, send some love, everyone. Make some noise. Say good night, everyone.
Much love.
All right.
Humanity.
Go team. All right, see you at the dream tree. Much love. Thanks again. Keep it shifty. Peace and wholeness.